Hello, everyone. You are watching twitch.tv/VictoriousGG, and tonight is our coverage of Week 4 in the 2023 VTS Spring Split. Coming up, a best of 3 between the Akuma Scythes and the Asian Invasion. Both teams currently sit at 1-2 coming out of Week 3, and as a result, this match is critically important in determining which team will pull ahead of one of their closest competitors as we reach the halfway point of the regular season. For the Akuma Scythes, we have to go all the way back to Week 1 to remind ourselves of the success that they have found so far this season. Their triumph over NWA seems to have mostly come off the back of superior team fighting, and specifically their bot lane on Zyra Khan. It'll be interesting to see if Akuma will be able to get their hands on the Lover's Lane tonight, or if they will find a different way to sharpen their sides. Facing off against them, the Asian Invasion found their victory in Week 2 over Vaporwave Dreamcast. This was the only defeat that Vaporwave have suffered so far this season, and we did actually have the privilege of casting that match. I do remember the Style Esports Shurima Division runners-up fell a bit behind in both early games, but were able to come back with some exceptional team fighting of their own, especially from solo laners, Sprint, and Hong Kong players. Both the Akuma Scythes and the Asian Invasion have tasted victory already this season, and in both cases, they looked fairly decisive in their wins. However, both squads took tough losses in Week 3, and I'm sure that both will be very hungry to put another one in the win column. It is a stunningly beautiful Friday night here in Chicago. From the Victorious Castro Desk, my name is Crewman. I'm joined once again by the top-notch Mr. Turk. How's the weather looking over there where you're at, my friend?
Weather in Canada is great right now. Surprisingly warm out, so no complaints with that. But yeah, I'm excited to be able to get into the series here. I've had a chance to play against Akuma several times, both in playoffs and in regular season, so it'll be exciting to see a lot of these guys play again. A lot of familiar names on there, and of course, having the opportunity to already cast Asian Invasion too. So yeah, it's going to be exciting as we have our bans rolling in. Of course, we do have the placeholder Ivern coming in place, but we do see a quick response with the Seraphine. I do like that ban quite a bit, actually, I do have to say.
Yes, of course. Quick note there, the Ivern ban is because Asian Invasion have an emergency substitute tonight, so that is the reason for the placeholder ban. And it's going to be the Jinx actually locked away immediately on B1 turn.
Yeah, we're off to a sprint here. Already our bans are done. We've already got a first pick too. And the Jinx, that's something that I've been seeing a lot more too. Jinx just tends to have that really safe scaling. I mean, if you get one kill on her, you can tend to get multiple. So really good reset champ, of course, and just generally safe. Going to be that late game scaling that a lot of teams want. And now you have the option to pair it with Thresh if that's something that you're looking for. Or you could be like Akuma here, and not too surprising at all to see Ratchet actually grabbing that Thresh there. So we'll pay close attention to how that goes. But I like the response here coming in. We'll have to see exactly what ends up happening here on the next rotation.
Yeah, Aphelios Thresh, obviously a very solid lane, a very common response into the Jinx as well. And the Thresh kind of doubles, right, as both a strong pairing with the Aphelios and also a takeaway from the Jinx. But what's this? Looks like the new champ, Emilio, going to be locked in for Asian Invasion, and looking like it's going to be Echo paired up alongside there as well. I believe that is a comfort pick, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm guessing that is, yeah, as well. That's probably going to be jungle if I had to take a guess. So
yeah,
we'll see. It is a flex too, but I'm assuming it's going to be going jungle. And that Echo does need to get kills early. Ideally, or it's going to take a while for you to actually start doing damage, but if the Echo does end up getting ahead, then there's a lot of opportunities to snowball here. And we'll pay close attention to that Emilio pick too, because Emilio paired with the Jinx is going to be really exciting to watch. It's really the onus right now is on the Aphelios and Thresh to be able to answer that lane before they start to take off themselves.
Absolutely. We do have a quick stat for you all here. It is Woshi, 25 games in the Echo this season, 56% win rate. So eyes on the jungle position for sure on where that Echo might possibly be going. Then the Vi, an interesting response also here for Akuma. I was, for those who may not know, I was a Vi one trick for a little while. So do love me seeing some Vi in coordinated competitive play. And does offer, of course, a lot of really strong engage. You have the lore matchup as well, right, Turk, against the Jinx with an arcane matchup there.
Yeah, you sure do. I like the Vi a lot, too. You do obviously have that point-and-click lockdown on that Jinx, which is something that Emilio cannot cleanse, so we'll see how that ends up playing out here. I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe Akuma here pick up something like an Ari and R4, if that isn't banned here. I'm not entirely sure, but Ari Thresh tends to pair really well, especially with Vi. The gap close that both that mid and jungle duo have is pretty intense, so we'll see. The Ornn, the R4 Ornn, that's Okay, so that's actually a really good pick here. Now Akuma has a strong front-to-back team fight that they can play for. They have the guaranteed scaling with, of course, the Aphelios and the Ornn being able to give everybody those items. So I really like that. The onus right now is, of course, on AI to see what they end up picking into this Ornn. You have a bunch of different options. Of course, if you want, you can try to kill him. Maybe you can go something like Camille, maybe a Tank Shredder. Gwen is another option. Jax too, which is what we're seeing covered, and that's probably going to be the lock-in. Jax, obviously really good at the split push. Can outscale that Ornn if, well, he will outscale that Ornn, of course he will, but depending on when it's happening early, it's just a matter of when that happens. It could be 20, 25 minutes, it could be much later than that, so that is a good pick. I do like that. It does give them that scaling that they want.
Yeah, definitely the case. It does match the Ornn scaling, as you were saying, in a manner of speaking, right? Being able to put on that pressure in the side lane, but it can be quite difficult to get advantages against the Ornn. You know, he is obviously a very beefy tank up there in the top lane. You know, once he gets some armor, he should be able to, at the very least, keep Jax at bay for quite a while, at least. That is the Kennen locked in as well. This, of course, is a Hong Kong player special, something we have seen this guy on before, and it is blind, though, so we'll have to see what Akuma want to go with into the Kennen on Hong Kong.
Yeah, that's a nice throwback to see there. Hong Kong player on that Kennen absolutely ended up tearing up that game one. I remember, played very well on it.
Yeah.
And we have the response with the Syndra, so the Syndra just straight up outranges that Kennen. The onus is, of course, going to be on Hong Kong player to be able to close that gap, but I don't expect that'll be happening too much pre-6 at all. I expect that Syndra to have a lot of mid prio, so if she's able to push waves and then kind of roam and then make plays off of that, ideally around her bot lane, because camping top this game just won't be too good for you. There's not a lot that you're going to end up getting out of trying to get an Ornn fed. So yeah, I expect a lot of bot attention here coming in from Akuma, and AI expect actually the same thing. So we'll pay close attention how both of these teams decide to play this out. But yeah, right now looking at what I see, I like both team comps. I think they're both solid, but I got to give it to Akuma right now. I think that the execution, the CC that they have is much easier for them to play with, but of course they do have the Melio on the side of AI, which is a great counter into a lot of CC. The only thing is, there's quite a bit of knockups and point and clicks on the side of Akuma that Melio just can't cleanse with the ult.
Yeah, 100% Turk. You know, Akuma's a draft. It seems very, you know, maybe a little bit safe. It's maybe a little bit of a conservative draft. You know, they don't have the most agency in the early game, but it's also a very solid draft. Like, it's very obvious that what this team wants to do. You know, they want to scale. They want a team fight. They have Vi for the primary engage, and then they have a ton of really, really great follow-up with the Syndra and the Ornn, of course, the Aphelios and Piper carry. And on the other side of things, Asian Invasion, you know, they also have some really strong team fighting tools, but a lot of it feels a little bit more volatile.
Yeah, it definitely does. The Echo, there's no doubt that the Echo needs to be able to get ahead. Ideally, it's kind of like, it's almost like Jarvan syndrome, but in this case, instead of dishing off and being the bridge as the Jarvan, you're actually basically hoping that somebody else can be the bridge for you as this Echo. You need to get those kills ahead within your first 2 clears. If you're able to get 1 kill, that's great, but you definitely have to try to outpace the enemy jungle, and in this case, what I'm seeing right now from Akuma, that Vi, I think is a great answer into it. So we'll see. A lot of the early game focus, I expect, will be actually trying to get the Echo ahead too. I don't know if there'll be much invading on the side of AI with the lanes that they've drafted. Unfortunately, to me, it seems like both mid and bot lane are going to struggle a lot with getting the prio, but we'll see. Melio does have a lot of wave clear. They can match, I believe, Akuma's, but the Aphelios thrash is definitely scary. The Vi being able to follow up with CC chain too is also there, so we'll see. Both teams, obviously, it always comes down to execution. I think both team comps are solid, but to me, I got to give it to Akuma for game 1.
Yeah, I do think I'm with you. You know, we have a little bit of time still before we go to break, before we get towards the end of this spectator delay. So let's you know, discuss a little bit more. You're saying, Turk, that you think there needs to be some kind of bridge to actually get this Jinx, get this Echo to a point in the game where they can really start to be threats in those team fights, where they can really get their DPS to a point where they're going to be able to take out that back line, you know, instantaneously, basically, or as quickly as they can. But it is obviously, as you were also saying, going to be a little bit easier said than done. So if you have this draft for Asian Invasion, what are you looking towards as kind of your way to get through this early game and avoid giving, you know, Akuma's sides any huge advantages? Because the sides also, they don't have like a ton of early tools, right?
Yeah, so the first thing, if I'm AI, I'm looking at what lanes I can play to as a jungle. So for example, if I'm going to be ganking top, I'm going to assume that the Vi is going to be there, so it's a 2v2. That's what I'm thinking in my head if I'm the Echo. So I'm saying, can I win that 2v2? And top side, it's a maybe. There's a decent chance that you can, but mid, it's 100% no. And bot lane, it's possible. So, long story short, what I think you need to do is instead of being able to get, say, a 2v2 fight top side or a 3v3 fight bot side, you need to look to get the numbers advantage. If you recognize that somebody's cross-mapping, maybe they're playing for a Rift Herald or whatever it might be, maybe it's time for you to set up a bot dive. So I think right away, from what I see, AI, I think they need to get the numbers advantage when it comes to ganking, because I feel like if the Vi's matching the Echo, I think that the Vi's going to be able to kind of control and outpace that, but of course there's still plenty of options. The Echo is really, really good. It's one of those champs that's strong around playing around vision, like even more so than a lot of other junglers, because that W coming out of the bush, you can't see until, of course, it's too late. So if something like that does come in where the W lands a where the Echo lands a massive stun, then there's a window there. But yeah, from what I could tell right now, if you're trying to pair up bot side with that 3v3, Akuma's going to win. If you're going to try to do it mid, if you're going to try to gank for your Kennen, then of course the Syndra and the Vi, they should be able to beat you 2v2 as well. So maybe you can get one kill on up top side for your Jax, get him ahead, and then maybe focus on trying to move a lot of that prio down from top side into mid, ideally at level 6, and then through bot lane for the rest of it, because it's going to take time for this Jinx and Amelia to really start to scale.
Definitely the case. Well, we are running into some technical difficulties, actually, it looks like here, guys. So we are going to have to tackle that in just a minute here. Hopefully that's not going to be too much of an issue, but we probably will have to run through that client draft once again. I think Turk and I are pretty much on the same page that the side of the Akuma sides a little bit of an easier to execute composition here in game number 1. There's a lot of comfort on the side of Asian Invasion as well. We'll see which team is going to be able to take the first Nexus in this first game of the night. Might be a little bit of a longer delay here, guys, but hopefully you're able to bear with us, and we should be on the Rift relatively soon.
Take care and see you all very soon.
Summoner's Rift.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, sorry again about that delay, but welcome
30 seconds
on to
until
Summoner's
minions
Rift
spawn.
for Game 1, our first game of the night, our first streamed game of Week 4 here in VTS Spring. Pretty calm opening here. Turk, any runes or summoners you'd like to point out?
Everything seems pretty standard across the board here for me. I mean, one thing to take note of, Hong Kong player did go electrocute. I mean, you do always have the option to go the area as well, which might be a little bit easier to proc in this lane. Obviously, with Syndra having that range advantage that she does have. But other than that, everything else to me seems pretty stock standard. I'm not really too surprised about really much of anything here. It'll be interesting to see how both of these jungles decide to play this early game here. Looks like we've got Jofu already hovering towards his top side. He will be spotted on this ward here, though. Looks like he's very well aware that he's spotted on this ward, so he's going to head on over here and just drop something real quick. Top side here, too. So now they're going to know where both junglers are starting here. Obviously, we got the Echo pathing towards the Jax, so we'll pay close attention to see if anything can happen with that. Getting that Jax ahead early on is going to be a really good win con here for Asian Invasion, so we'll watch that. And then, of course, we've got Vi, who's going to be pathing towards the bot side, which is something that I expected. The Felios Thresh has a lot of ganking set up.
Absolutely, and keeping Jinx down is going to be pretty important, I imagine, for this composition, although there are some other threats as well that the side of Akuma maybe need to be a little bit concerned about. At least they need to be keeping in mind, right? So, as you say, junglers pathing towards opposite sides does maybe indicate some different priorities for both sides. Just have to wait and see if either one of them is going to be able to make anything early happen. I imagine with both of these drafts, it's not necessarily a must that they have to find early advantages, but certainly would be nice, especially on the side of Asian Invasion. Would make their comp feel a lot stronger if they did head into that mid game with a lead.
Yeah, for sure. When the ultimates are available for Asian Invasion, that's when their team is going to really start to excel. So obviously that cannon, the slicing maelstrom that he's going to be able to have. The impacts, of course, if he has that flash up too, which is going to be pivotal to winning a lot of these early to mid-game fights.
Ooh, heavy trading up here alive. Running very, very low on HP. Has to flash away from Happy Owl up there. Close call for the Ornn. Does have the TP, though, to get back to lane. Mid laner's also trading quite aggressively. Syndra lanes to scatter, and alive did not go back. Happy Owl underneath the turret looking for that kill. Can't quite find it. Manages to leap right away in time. Yeah, here comes the Vi on the wraparound. Can land the Vault Breaker on a Pika Pika, who tries to flash away, but is unsuccessful in surviving. First blood, and the death sentence will land as well. They're going to be able to get two. It's a double for Joku on the Vi. On the top side, though, Woshi is able to strike back and gets a kill of his own.
Wow, lots of action really quick there. Happy Owl, really excited to be able to get that one kill. Actually going on to Woshi, which is probably better for the side of AI, but there's no doubt that Akuma ends up trading up there on that. That's 2 kills now going over to Jofu. Unfortunately, Turtle didn't quite get anything on that Aphelios besides the 2 assists, which is still nice. But a lot of early game action here, which is something that both of us expected to see. Both ganks ended up working out pretty well, so looks like junglers both will just end up heading towards their respective camps, start clearing, and expect some quick work. Wow, really good trading here from Fish.
Yeah, I mean, this is that R5 Syndra pick, right? Fish picked this into the cannon knowing that they would have the advantage in this matchup. As you said already, the Syndra heavily outranges that cannon. We can really see how much Hong Kong player is struggling in this lane. And look who's here. It is Thresh, and it's also Echo. And Echo is going to get hooked by Thresh, and he brings Fish straight over to try and pick up this kill. Woshi's desperately looking to survive, flashing over the wall. But the flash follow from Fish, and will land the W, and now Hong Kong player in trouble. Will have to dash away with the lightning surge. Will be able to escape and hold on to his own flash, but 3-1 now on the board. Akuma pulling ahead with the early lead.
There's very rare amounts of time when champions are more synonymous with the player. Ratchet is extremely good on this Thresh. I've seen him play this a lot of times, and already part of all 3 of these kills. Has a beautiful roam towards that mid lane, catching out that Echo with that death sentence. Gives that Syndra another kill now. So this is really good for her. Fish is going to be able to start to really accelerate, use that advantage that he's going to have naturally with the ranged. And that's all off the back of Ratchet, just having a nice roam timer, setting something up mid, and making a nice play.
Yeah, absolutely. Really beautifully set up by Ratchet there on the Thresh. The Lantern as well. The perfect timing to bring Syndra straight next to the target. Yeah, here comes the side of Asian Invasion looking to fight back. Turtle in trouble, tries to grab the lantern, but gets stopped by the Chompers. Excellently placed by Goach, and he will be able to pick up that last hit as well.
Yeah, we actually saw Goach play in the last series that we had a chance to cast for these guys too. He played the Jinx, and he was really proficient in that champ then, and definitely nothing has changed since. So, beautiful Chompers, picks up a nice kill for him. Gonna grab the Dragon off the back of that, and get rid of this Cloud, which is pretty strong. It's gonna take them a little bit, but they will end up grabbing it here eventually. And that's a nice play there, a good answer. Still down 600 gold, but that doesn't mean anything right now.
Chemtech break. I believe you said Cloud there.
Oh, yes, yeah,
Chemtech.
Chemtech, thank you.
Yeah.
Snoozing.
No worries. You know, they both start with C. They're both pretty light color palettes. You know, it's an easy mistake to make, I'm sure.
They both suck.
Ooh, that too. Atlas would probably like a word, but, you know, I think most would be inclined to agree with you.
Lots of trading going up here, top side.
And it really, like, Jax is continuing to get the better end of it for the most part.
Yeah, for sure in the extended trades, especially now that he's 6, obviously doesn't have enough mana to be able to pop that ultimate there, but with the lethal tempo, the extended trades will obviously go in his favor. Alive is playing very well though, as much as he can here. He obviously died early on there, but that's just unfortunate. They recognize that Echo started bot side anyways. Alive got low enough where he could get dove, and that's what happened, but really nice bounce back here. I think he's doing a great job, and that's really what he needs to do. That's his job. He's quite literally the Rock this game.
Yes, he's not playing Malphite,
Yes.
but definitely, again, I think we're all very clear on what you mean there, Turk. Alive's job is just to, well, stay alive during the laning phase, and then group up with the squad for the team fights, which of course is where Ornn feels very much at home. So, see if the Ornn is going to be able to continue surviving, you know, besides that one death, as Ratchet looking for the hook, not going to land it this time around. Takes a little bit of damage on the way out, as now Goach looking to chase on that one, but got rooted up by the grab summons. That's Fish with the outplay button. Ooh, but not quite enough. Didn't have enough balls, Turk. And now Fish is getting slicing Maelstrom, but it's not quite enough again. And it's going to be the Scissor who picks up the kill in the end. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, it's going to be Ratchet laying that sentence and sets up perfectly for his AD carry to lock down the kill onto the Jinx. And now Pika Pika. No flash available yet on the Melio. Vault Breaker not going to land. Probably not going to matter. Has a little bit of movement speed from the yellow ball or whatever that ability does, but it's not going to be enough. And it will be 2 kills going over to Turtle's fellows.
Yeah, 2, 1, and 2 here now, 150 gold bounty. He's looking great. They're going to get this wave crash in here too, so that's awesome. Maybe he'll get a plate on top of that. Maybe not. But regardless, wave state's really good for bot lane now. He's going to be happy. Turtle will be able to roam. Or Turtle will be able to head straight back to that bot lane after, and Ratchet will have that roam timer that I expect him to probably path towards mid, maybe top side here, so we'll pay close attention to that.
Absolutely, we will. Yes, we are onto the Rift Herald right now for Woshi, but he's been scouted out as Joku is very much aware of what's happening here. Both junglers with their ultimate abilities available, and sort of top laners call. The Forge God comes out. It's going to be the Chrono Break. Woshi uses it to dodge out on the Forge God's call. They get the kill on the jungler. They secure the objective, and now it's going to be Asian Invasion looking for just a little bit more. Will they be able to chase on the top laner? Alive, flashing away to keep himself, as the namesake suggests, alive for now. But that is a big play for Asian Invasion. +1 and the objective. Oh, that's going to be a hook in mid lane, though, as Ratchet takes his way over once again. The scatter, though, is not quite enough to secure that kill onto the Melio.
Yeah, the Syndra R just wasn't available there. Just a little unfortunate as it's coming up right now, just off cooldown. So that definitely could have been a kill had that have happened 5-10 seconds later. But, I mean, this Echo, 2-1-1 now, and that's important. We talked about it. He has to get those kills early. He has to be able to make an impact. This could be a good fight. Ratchet behind.
Oh yeah, here comes the threat. That's going to be Goach in a world of trouble down there. I'm not sure why we're looking at mid lane right now, directed camera. It's because actually Goach is making a run for it on his way up the river, and they're not able to lock him down just yet. Sees Ratchet over the wall, able to connect the zap. Here comes Turtle. Level 6 of Helios has the cleanse and just mows down Goach. It's actually going to be behind to fix up the last hit, but Turtle will get one onto the cannon as Hong Kong player will also drop. It's Akuma with a couple of more kills now. They may have lost the first dragon and the first herald, but they continue to win out in these skirmishes.
Yeah, they're quicker. They collapse as a team for a 4v2. They happily get the execute there really well. Hong Kong player does trade a kill, so that's nice. At the end of the day, like, you won't complain too much about that. But yeah, just a really well thought out, good heads up play there by Akuma.
I actually missed it. Was that kill onto the Thresh?
Onto the Thresh, I believe it was. Yes. Yeah. He just barely got him there at the end, but it was nice. So they still get something there. Woshi going in.
gets the flash out of Syndra. Echo spending his own flash for that one as well. So a trade of flashes between the Echo and the Syndra. Probably a little bit more valuable for Syndra, so I'd say worth if you're Woshi.
Yeah, I'd say it's worth it. You always have that oh you know what button with that that Chrono shift. So Echo still really safe here, and you could actually see some more action as both jumpers are humming bot side.
Both of these top laners are extremely low. I don't imagine Happy Owl's going to want to go for the dive here. He barely has any
have much mana. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen.
Late.
He's thinking about it.
He's going to land, and Happy Owl will think better of it. I think would have been maybe a little bit overeager to go for that one. Only needed like one auto attack, it looks like, but just would have been a little bit too risky, I think.
Has comfortably nabbed himself a 30 CS lead. This could be a kill.
Just barely.
Yes.
That W not going to get the stun. Fish able to walk it out, and now Death Sentence going to land. Echo does have the ultimate available. Woshi doesn't even get the chance to use it. Ratchet, CC chains him with JoJo's assistance, and they 100-0 the Echo.
Yeah, the hook coming in from Fog of War, just no opportunity to be able to react if you're Woshi. And that's a really nice chain CC, able to lock him down without actually getting that ultimate off, so that's great. It's a lot of action that you just ended up making a play off of, and Fish getting a bit more. Holy.
Nice scatter. Death Sentence? Ooh. Didn't see that one. Never mind, Ratchet.
I closed my eyes, too. Yep.
Yeah, we missed that one, actually. Did I say Death Sentence? I meant, no, I got it.
That's okay. He's hit a lot of them. We can poke a little bit.
He has. He really, really has. They set up a lot of these early kills, right, for the side of Akuma. You know, we've been saying, or I was just saying a minute ago, they've been winning out in the skirmishes. That's in large part, oh, hang on, another skirmish, as Happy Owl looking for the solo kill, but alive just barely with enough armor to survive that all in. We'll have to use the ultimate now. He's gonna get flashed on by the Jax counter-strike for the stun, and Happy Owl secures the solo bolo. And top lane arrow charge into bot. It's gonna be the decent assist on to Pika. Milio trying to flash away, trying to stay alive. It's gonna be the threat that's already taken out. And now it's Aphelios flashing forward, but the buy has already dropped. Is Turtle going to be able to 1v3 this fight? He's running so low on HP. He takes one with him. Oh, he's got another one, but it is going to be Ghost able to trade one back. It is a 3-for-2, just barely. Asian Invasion come out ahead.
Wow. Fight after fight after fight. 5-2-3 now here on the side of Turtle, and I wasn't sure how that fight was going to end up going, but he definitely clutched that out at the end there. Managing to pick up not one, but two of those kills. Really well played by him, and actually kind of saving that fight here. And we do have Ratchet pathing already down towards this dragon, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Akuma already set up on this. They have first move, so they already have that advantage to start setting up that ward line, or even look for a gank here mid lane.
Yeah,
that damage.
Definitely looking pretty vulnerable after that trade, as Hong Kong player does have flash and ult, just going to be able to sidestep that Death Sentence. And will survive, but without their mid laner, it's going to be almost impossible for Asian Invasion to contest this objective. Unless Woshi wants to go for a steal or something like this. They do have a little bit of vision in the pit. They know that this is going down. At least Echo does not have ultimate right now. He's going to go for it anyway. He is going to get the steal. Death Sentence not going to land. Joku with the Vault Breaker and Fish rolling over with the scatter. Oh, and Garvin able to just dash back over the wall. Didn't even need the ultimate for that one. Secures the dragon. Gets out of the pit. Refuses to elaborate.
Didn't have the ultimate, actually. That's really well played by him.
Exactly.
Able to have that timing down pat. And Ratchet could be a little caught out here.
He's looking a little bit caught out.
Could be a lot of caught out.
Rocket should be able to take down the Thresh. As in the top lane, we do see the top laners going at it once again, and Happy Owl still really, well, happy about that situation. Gonna get the flash out of alive. Meanwhile, Ratchet did manage to survive in that bot side.
This is a dive here for sure.
Yeah, that's looking like another solo kill on my screen. Happy Owl picks up the last turret shot, not quite going to be enough. And Jax now 2-0. Divine Sunderer already completed 3 minions away from that Cole completion as well, sir.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, here we go.
That is an That's going to be the perfect setup for the scatter, and there is the outplay. Button slicing Maelstrom expended by Hong Kong player, but is going to die in that exact same instant. As Woshi trying to trade one back, but Josu just able to ball breaker over the wall. Did almost go down, but the Vise manages to survive.
AI in a really, really good game state right now here. Grabbing that top turret, just awesome. The Jax is now ahead. He's more than that now at this point. He's closing on 50 CS advantage. He's got 2-0-3 in terms of kills, 250 gold bounty. I don't know how Akuma's going to be able to deal with this Jax. I mean, they have the CC. If they're able to lock him down, they have the Thresh Hook. They have the Scatter the Weak coming in from Syndra. Of course, they have the Vi ultimate too. But like Happy Owl and this Jax, he's strong. He's looking really good at this point. The split push win condition here is definitely there for Asian Invasion. So Akuma's gonna have to play cautiously around that.
100%, Shark. And I'll be honest, you know, I wasn't really convinced myself coming out of the draft on the Jax split push win condition. I felt like Alive was going to be able to just be a brick wall up there for at least the majority of the game and kind of stop Happy Hour from getting much done, but that doesn't really seem to be the case. Jax is really running that top lane. And we can see the Orange just has to sit back by his tier 2, just has to wait for the minion wave, not really allowed to walk up, and considering how heavily Jax has been bullying him up there.
Yeah, it's not going to get any easier either. There's no doubt about that. I mean, as more items come in, this Jax is just going to be able to really run the rest of this game. And side lanes in team fights, if he groups up, this will be interesting here. I think this is going to be a turret.
Yeah, I imagine it might be. Woshi is going to get chunked a little bit by Turtle. And the Echo, oh, this is going to be an interesting situation as Jofu lands the Vault Breaker and the Season's Assist out of Fog. And again, 100 to 0. The Echo, Woshi did have the ultimate that time, once again, no chance to cast it. And it's going to be the Vault Breaker again from Jofu. Sets up onto the Jinx this time. Goach looking to step up and get some of that turret plate money, but the greed, it does cost him that time.
The lack of vision from Asian Invasion, it's really clear there when that Vi is able to get that flank and actually pick off Goach in the front line. Actually, in that case, nobody really around him there. So yeah, the vision ward just winning out on the side of Akuma. They're able to get behind, get those flanks that they so desperately need here, and then set up and get a nice kill.
I mean, I will say, Asian Invasion should have known that the Vi was there, right? Because their jungler just got killed from, you know, in that exact bush. So I don't think Goach really should have been up that far, but, you know, it was pretty fast the way that collapse happened. So I guess the side of Asian Invasion, just as a team, they weren't really ready for it. You know, it's better vision control, as you were just saying, for the side of Akuma's side. So nice punish from them, but still, that Herald got the charge, and Happy Hour was able to get some work done on that top tier 2 as well.
Yeah, crucially not getting that mid tier 1 turret, which does open up so much of the map. So they got a good chunk on it, not quite down yet. Maybe with a good rotation or whatnot, we'll see. But they should be able to grab that here at some point, and that will definitely help them get those deeper wards. That's so much of what they need right now. You just see at this point they do have the opportunity. Pika is here. He should be able to get some wards set up, but nobody's really around at this point right now to be able to contest for this dragon. So we'll see. I think Akuma, they should just have a good chance to be able to walk in, get this vision set up, and it's 27 seconds until this dragon's available.
Coming up very, very soon is a Mountain Soul this game. I don't think we mentioned that yet, but obviously that would feel fantastic for both sides. That's not going to land, but especially the top laners would really enjoy that particular soul.
Yep. AI is here though now. They do have a chance here, so we'll see exactly how this is played out. Midwave is getting
provision right now. It's going to be the scatter into the death sentence follow-up, and the support is just one shot. He's just gone. And now the call for guy going to come out, but not going to be able to get a whole lot done. But the fight looks like it's already won for Akuma's side. They pick up 3, lose none, and looking to take full control here in the mid lane.
Yeah, the Cinder stun followed by the death sentence for Thresh is just, it's too much. And if you're Melio, you can cleanse somebody else, but you can't cleanse yourself. And that's just unfortunate. The chain CC comes in there, and Pika gets picked off, and now this is going to be a tier 1 in mid, and a dragon being, or a tier 2, excuse me, in mid, and a dragon being answered. Hong Kong player does have a flank though, but I just don't see an angle right now. I think you kind of need to reset here for your Asian Invasion, try to get some vision out, push maybe mid wave, push top wave, whatever you're able to do, and then rotate, try to get some vision on this Baron here, and establish a bit of an advantage here. Maybe you can get a flank with Cannon, Slicing Maelstrom. Jofu. This could be a bit of an overextension.
This is taking a long time to do this. Dragon, he is going to be able to get the smite, but I'm not sure why. Vi is here all by herself. What took so long? That objective is going to try and flash away. The Vault Breaker to try and get to safety, but Woshi is going to be able to follow with the dash forward there on the Echo. And crucially, Akuma does manage to lock down that Drake, but tossing their jungler, and Aaron, like you said, is spawning.
I mean, Akuma had all the tempo that they needed. Unfortunately, they just ended up doing a split call there. And Vi's trying to take this dragon, but it's solo.
Oh my
doesn't
God.
have beautiful.
Just dials in another hook, but they're outnumbered. Underneath the tier 1 turret, it's going to be the Thresh that goes down first. And Fish traded back. It's going to be a huge shutdown though onto Turtle, and Happy Al dives into the
Let's go
backline
down.
underneath the tier 2. Does manage to take out the Syndra as well. Will fall in exchange, and look at that. It's a 3-for-3 at Nesco.
Holy. Lots of action once again here. Goach should be able to push in this mid wave, but Alive might be able to re-answer and defend this mid turret. Woshi.
These fights are so fast. Wookie, you were spotted there, bud. The season just says that's going to be Jofu getting a little bit of revenge on his own red buff as now Goach getting in a lot of damage onto Alive.
No.
Maybe overextended is the Jinx once again knocked up by the Forge God's Call. And just a sliver of a health bar left. Jofu looking to charge up one more Vault Breaker. Has the range on the empowered auto attack, and Vi picks up number 6.
I mean, so much action. Akuma goes from almost blowing that dragon there, ends up Jofu dying, and then as a result they end up cleaning that up here, and now they're setting up for a Baron, and now they actually have first move here. They have the advantage to be able to get all this vision that they need, maybe look for a pick with that Death Sentence. They didn't clear that pink though. They need to get rid of that pink in that bush for sure.
That's very true. They will be able
But now
to
they
do
have,
so.
yeah, they have this vision set up top side. This is really well done here by the side of Akuma, and obviously we need to see Asian Invasion respect this here and respond when they can. But yeah, right now, topside vision with this Baron has definitely gone to Akuma. Ratchet will be able to reset, have his ward count once again, get that vision set up if he needs it once again, and start to look for picks, really.
Notably, Happy Al does have TP advantage over there in the side lane. So if there is anything like a Baron start, that could come into play. So looking for a pick right now certainly is Asian Invasion. Woshi going to face check Syndra, going to scattered a little bit, but he's going to be totally fine.
Still fishing for something.
I'm pretty sure that the side... Oh, maybe they don't know he's there. Joku will find him now, going forward with the Vault Breaker. It is a 2v2 right now, but Ratchet on the way towards this top side. And nothing going to break out just yet.
Nope, both teams here just posturing around this Baron. So, nothing too crazy at the moment, but this is definitely the next major objective until, of course, that dragon does spawn here in 2 minutes. So, crucially, mid-prow is going to be the most important thing here, but Happy Al, definitely happy in the game state here with how everything is going. Won't be able to chip away at this bot turret just yet, but can definitely chip away at Alive.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, the Ornn, decently good wave clear, so able to, you know, stand by the tier 2, able to get those waves cleared relatively comfortably, but Black Cleaver seconds already completed for Happy Al. So definitely, if he gets any kind of quality time between Ornn and his lamppost, going to be able to do quite a lot of damage.
Yeah, for sure, and we can actually see Alive here. He's pathing over to this Baron, so they're putting all of the cards into this Baron right now. We see Happy Al, he's going to head on down to the spot side, but he has TP like you mentioned, so...
Yeah, can get in there. It's going to be Death Sense to start things off on Woshi, but the Apparel Convergence is going to stun the threat as well. Slicing Maestro from Hong Kong player gets 3 in the backline, but where's the follow-up? They don't have it quite yet. It's going to be the Chrono Shift back, and it's going to be Vi that goes down. Now it is Asian Invasion putting out in the fight, but can't Turtle make it happen. It's a beautiful scatter from Fish on the flank onto 3, but it's still the advantage, and it's Woshi flashing. Can't quite get the kill on the Aphelios, and with the white gun, Turtle's going to be able to turn that one around. It is a...
What?
Another even fight as blast, just a scatter that...
Oh my god.
That was just instantaneous death from Fish.
Oh.
It blows up.
Oh my. The sirens, that was illegal, that was incredible. So well done by Fish.
There, am I right?
Yeah, hook, line, and sinker for sure. That's just a reality of chasing a champion like Syndra. With the range that she has, the opportunities, and I'll be honest, I didn't expect Ghost to go down to that, but he died in 0.1 of a second, like completely gone. And Fish 8 and 2, you can see the damage. Doesn't quite have that Rabadon's yet, but he's so close.
Definitely. Very, very close. And if we take a quick look at the gold, looks like he's about 100 gold away. So any second now, we'll be able to get that hat.
He has TP
completed.
too. I wouldn't be surprised to see him push this mid wave, reset, and then TP in. That's a major power spike. Major.
It's huge. And we can already see how much damage the Syndra's been doing, right? You increase that by 30%. Woo, that is scary. Very scary, as it's going to be Woshi looking for this one. Once again, can Woshi go 2 for 2 on steals this game? Think about it, he's in the pen, he can! And the immediate chrono break back to safety. Woshi making it look easy there.
It's so tricky. You almost always end up flipping versus an Echo. And that's something that is just inherently is difficult to deal with when you see this champion. And it's an off-meta pick, but it's a strong pick, obviously, for Woshi. And he's piloting this champion really well. That's 2 Dragon Steals now.
Indeed.
Akuma starting this Baron up.
Gonna lock down at least one of those Rift Heralds as well. I don't remember. I think maybe Asian
Oh, the hook!
Both. That's gonna be a hook on a Happy Owl. He's not gonna be very happy about that one. The CC comes through. The Jax goes down. 5v4 now on the Rift. Akuma's sides looking to go back towards the objective. Hong Kong player on the flank has flash ult. Eyes on the cannon here. Can Hong Kong player find the angle in the 4v5 fish? Level 16. Death cap still not completed though for the Syndra. Just power spike is not yet in, and it looks like Akuma may want to peel off of this one, but no, the call of the Forge God will come through. The knockup on the 3, but they're not able to go for the engage. Ornald's expended, but it will be Akuma that has to back away.
If you're Akuma, you want to reset anyways. You want to get that advantage. You have the Rabadons already, and we were talking about it. So you could have had that purchased. You could have reset, TP'd, and looked to play around that. And that fight could be completely different. Fish already doing a ton of damage, let alone with that item. So maybe a little bit of maybe a misplay, you could say, there on the side of Akuma, maybe just not recognizing the power spikes that their team comp does have. But of course we do have that coming in now, so that's important. We're going to see them, looks like they're going to rush back towards this top side, contest around this Baron once again, and with that extra damage that the Syndra has, they have to really be cautious of where she is. They need to know where she is at all point in time.
I mean, how many games have we seen decided by just like one scatter from fog that just instantly ends the game? Definitely a real possibility here, and a misplay maybe from the side of Akuma's sides, but also they didn't really lose anything from that attempt towards Baron.
Exactly. Just time. They simply lost time. That's it.
And their comp, you know, they can lose some time. They're okay with that. They'll get it back later. At least that's the idea. We'll see if it does become a reality as both top laners with the teleport available now. And we see Akuma back looking towards this Baron. Do you like all of this attention that they're putting towards the Baron right here, Turk, or would you rather them spread the map a little bit?
No, I like what they're doing right now. I do. Alive is, of course, down on that bot side. You really need the Ornn to be able to pull the trigger to force those engages for you. Unless, of course, Ratchet is able to land a Death Sentence, which he has been consistently doing this game. So that's definitely an option, but I like what they're doing here. They get the mid-prow and then they rotate into this Baron. With the vision control that they have, there's a chance that they can always threaten it, but they have to be careful. They have to be wary about where this cannon is, and Hong Kong player knows that too. So he's playing really well around this vision. I like that a lot, and I think that's the main reason why Akuma hasn't started this Baron up yet. So really, I feel like this is just going to be more of a dance for the time being. Really, it's trying to deny the Baron from the side of Asian Invasion, and really it's going to be around this next dragon that's going to spawn here in about 2 minutes.
Yeah, definitely. The clock does feel like it is ticking a bit for the side of Akuma's sides. Staring down possible Mountain Soul in just about a minute and a half, as you mentioned. Ratchet can't find the hook, taking a lot of damage, and he's just gone. Woshi jumping in there with the able to get the kill, and now Turtle's gone as well. Gilbert's not going enough to get the great kill, and now Josu trying desperately to go in to save the fight, but it's too little, it's too late. Now it's just Ornn and Syndra, only the solo laners left. They're not going to be able to find a damn thing, Turk. It's going to be the Ornn who goes down as well. A 4-for-nothing fight for the Asian invaders in the mid lane, and now they are the ones who look towards the Baron.
It's always tricky. You want to defend the tier 1 and mid, but you just sometimes can't. You should have let it go, and obviously the end result, you see it in hindsight, but this is going to be a Baron going to the side of course, Asian Invasion. They're going to be more than happy with this. The Slicing Maelstrom and the Flash is still available here for Hong Kong player for the next team fight, of course. So, I mean, that's going to be a major chance for, obviously, Asian Invasion to really start to snowball this game. This tier 2 turret up topside is pretty low, but I expect them to reset. Really, a lot of this attention should be put on the mid and bot side here for Asian Invasion with this Baron. So we'll see how they play. The ball's in their court right now, and yeah, we'll pay close attention to that.
Yeah. You know, that fight, it really just looks like the side of Akuma's sides weren't ready for the burst damage. They just died, as you know, Ratchet especially just died so quickly, you know, flashing just a second too late there to avoid that critical damage as Death Sentence going to be dodged away from Woshi. Scatter will land. Sonya's activated by the Echo, will be able to survive. The Death Sentence does connect this time, but it's onto the Jax. Happy Out is going to be able to jump away from that one. River control currently held by the sides, but how long can they hold on to it?
Akuma needs to start this. Akuma needs to start right now.
Yeah,
they have
because they
this.
don't have mid lane control.
They're going to give up tier 2 and maybe tier 3 in mid, We'll have to see.
Woshi.
Woshi's looking for another steal.
You can't do this to them,
No,
Woshi.
no, this
I
is not
think
allowed.
the control over the
Yeah,
pit is too
yeah,
much
yeah,
this time. They're
okay.
actually going to be able to take out Woshi as well over the wall. They get the dragon. How much are they going to lose for
They
it?
might be able
Tier
to get this
3
in.
definitely going to drop.
Oh, they're not full hitting. Okay, there we go. There we go. We got it now. That's a great decision there. That's a great decision from Asian Invasion. You don't need that dragon. Well, of course you want it. Don't get me wrong. It's Mountain Soul for you. You still don't need it right now, and you can look to make a play mid instead, and that's what they do. And I like that play. It's good heads-up thinking. It's good macro.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree there, Turk. And now they still have about a minute on Baron, so they have time to reset, actually, and they're going to be able to get back out onto the map and probably have at least one more wave of Baron minions to work with.
Yep,
See if they're going to try and make anything happen with that.
Crucially, they have a couple deep wards in the topside jungle right now. It is spotted there by Jofu. Not the best ward setup, of course, but if that one ward does stick around, that's still nice. And you're right, they absolutely, at this point right now, they probably want to be setting up for that Baron. It won't be coming up anytime soon here, but even still playing towards that topside is going to be a nice win con for you. You have that mid inhib now. When you have that mid inhib, that means naturally you're going to have that mid push no matter what. So obviously, one person from Akuma is always going to have to be dealing with that mid wave. So we'll see. It looks like we have the setup towards bot side. I like this as well, just as long as we see some action where they can take advantage with their Baron. How much time? It's nearly up, so we'll see. By the time that they get to this tier 2, they might not actually have Baron.
I think it will time out. I don't think they'll be able to get any more
Still a really successful Baron, though.
I would say so, yeah. Able to break open that mid lane definitely feels pretty valuable, and still on Mountain Soul point for yourselves, but the Baron and the Mountain... Oh, this collapse.
Akuma,
They're really going
they
for
have
Happy
4
Owl
people.
up here.
They're a bit out of position here, though, too. Happy Owl, if he's able to buy a lot of time, we'll see what happens here.
Ratchet, the Hex Slash misses the play, and this is a really heavy commitment from Akuma towards this top side. They need to take out Jax, and they need to do it quickly. Death Sentence will land this time. The Counter-Strike comes out, gets that stun onto 2, another Death Sentence will land. Fish getting pretty low, but will be able to survive. They get the Jax, but they're losing their bot lane now, Turk. I think this turret is probably going to go down. They're trying to get back to defend, but this is going to be another tier 3 taken down by Asian Invasion. They're not going to be able to stick around for the bot inhibitor, though.
Yeah, Akuma looking for a play up topside, and while they do get the kill on the Jax, of course, in response, tier 2 bot turret is going to end up going down, so just another really good heads-up play from the side of Asian Invasion. You can see the tempo here that they've been able to gather from past the couple team fights that they've been able to win has really gone in their favor, and right after that Baron play, you can really see that things have started to really shift for them here, so... Of course, we do have neutrals coming up here. We're going to have the Baron and the Dragon spawning around the same time. I expect maybe 1 or 2 wards topside for both teams, just to make sure nobody's trying to sneak it. But all attention is going to be going down towards this bot side, which is something you're already seeing here with both teams posturing towards this bot inhibitor.
That is definitely what I would expect as well there, Mr. Turk. We'll see. You know, last time around, it was Akuma's Scythes that were able to get quite a bit of priority for themselves, but they're down an inhibitor now, as that's going to be Death Sentence onto the Garvin over the wall, but the Echo, pretty safe, generally speaking. Although they have managed to 100-0 him a couple of times this game, so that is also a possibility.
Akuma still has some time here. They don't want this bot inhibitor to go down, though, that's for sure. If they lose this bot inhibitor, it's going to be really difficult for them to be able to contest any of these neutrals, and they need both of these. For sure.
They absolutely do. Ratchet, Trellis,
almost
not going to be able to find that hook. It's going to be alive, looking for that call to forward shot as well. Garvin going to be the only one hit by it, though. The cease and desist into the back line. They get the immediate blow up onto support now. As well, the Kong player gets the nails with everybody, but then he immediately goes down as well. It's going to be Jofu now, moving forward. Oh no, Ghost is also dead, and it's going to be Jofu looking to clean this one up, and Woshi is still alive, so is Happy Owl, and Echo and Jax are going to be able to clean up this fight in the end. It's a double for each of them, and now it's only Ratchet left to try and defend the base. Still 30 seconds on a Felio sent by. I think this is going to be the end.
It's looking like it. Ratchet going 1 for 1, but Happy Owl, I feel like he can end here. He'll have to push in. We have 20 seconds on Aphelios, like you mentioned. Maybe not. Maybe just a double inhib.
It's looking pretty comfy for the Jax, I would say. Happy Owl, uncontested in the enemy base with his
wants it for
lamppost.
sure. Yep.
Happy as a Jax can be. Just looking to take down these
even if they
turrets.
expose the Nexus, it's still extremely good here. Yeah, I don't believe they're not going to be able to end. Yeah, he's going to have home guard. He's going to have home guards too, so he's going to be quick.
Yeah, Happy Hour gonna look for the third tier 3. Turtle moving up here to see what he can do. Jack's low mana and will jump away. Will respect the Aphelios. So not even able to actually expose that third inhibitor either. So it is the side of Akuma's side still in it, but just barely turned.
Yeah, Ratchet able to buy enough time there by actually going 1-for-1 with Woshi, and that ends up being the difference between whether or not they lose this game number 1. And that's a big tempo shift in the whole grand scheme of this series. So great job by him. Maybe a bit of an overextension too, you could say, on the side of Woshi, but we can already see what's happening here. We've got one team playing for Dragon and the next playing for Baron here. And I mean, if you're outside of Akuma, this is great that you have this third Mountain Dragon, but unfortunately it's not the soul yet, and you're going to trade for this Baron, and a lot of tempo now is going to continue to be on the side of Asian Invasion.
100%. I mean, that wasn't really a choice at all for the side of Akuma's size. You have to deny the Mountain Soul, right? You don't really have a choice there. So that does mean giving over another Baron, and with 2 of your inhibitors already exposed, it's going to be really difficult to defend. Scatter, not going to land, turret down, calls the Forge God, flashed away, Goach staying alive, now it's Woshi, diving in, trying to get some damage down onto the front line. Ornn is tanky, is he tanky enough? Death Sentence also going to go wide. These abilities are not landing when they need to be, and that means it's going to be all 3 inhibitors taken down. And Akuma running out of real estate. They only have a single Nexus turret left between themselves in a Game 1 defeat screen. Death Sentence once again just a little bit short there. Ratchet has landed so many hooks this game, but having a hard time now. Does get one onto Goach, but that is the Melio cleansing power coming through, keeping the 80 carry very safe. They're just waiting to sync up these minion waves, and then the side of Asian Invasion will go for one last push. Scatter, a lot of damage onto the support. Pika in danger of getting burst down once again, but still alive for now.
You gotta feel like it's inevitable here, but Akuma's putting up a valiant effort.
They're trying their hardest to defend, but the last Nexus turret will fall, and now the dive in. It's so much damage as all the health bars just explode. But one of them, crucially, will not, and that is the health bar of Goach. Jinx, able to get excited, able to clean up that fight, and this time it will be the end of game number 1. 37 minutes. Akuma's sides definitely made him work for it, but in the end, it's Asian Invasion who come out on top.
Wow, that's a really exciting game 1. There's a lot of things that we could talk about there from just that game 1 alone. The early game going so heavily in favor of the side of Akuma, so much action being brought on the map by Ratchet with the roams that he's getting. But as the game moves on, you can start to see that the tides are beginning to shift with that Melio and that Jinx, the scaling that the team does have, and then of course some really crucial slicing maelstroms coming from Hong Kong player, quite literally turning entire fights. Lots of plays coming in there. Woshi obviously super impactful, especially when you look at it now about stealing those 2 dragons. That means that they don't have to play for those mountain. And while of course you want to play for a Mountain Soul, it doesn't mean you need it, because the Mountain Soul is really good if you want a team fight, but you can also play split push. You have a Jax on your team. So they decide not to play for those dragons. Instead, the first time they get the mid inhib, and then the second time they end up taking the game. So really well done by them. I mean, just a great execution there when it comes to macro for AI. I didn't really think that they had the greatest comp, as I mentioned there, in draft, but of course if you're able to scale into the late game, you're able to execute the way that you do there, and play around the vision control with the macro that you do have, like, a lot of great things can happen, and that Melio, while it didn't have a lot of an impact early, which we shouldn't expect anyways, it's a Melio, late game it most certainly did, and Goach absolutely got to go on a tear there. Ends the game with a 9-9 scoreline, but I'm sure the damage that he's output is going to be pretty insane, so great job by him, really done by pretty much everybody on the cross both teams, but at the end of the day, it's pretty clear that Asian Invasion wanted game number 1 more.
Yeah, and it is indeed Goach on top of those damage charts at just over 50k. Second place was, of course, Fish on the Syndra at 42k, and Fish and Ratchet, they found so many picks through the early and mid game. Really seemed like they were controlling the middle and the bottom portion of the map, but you know, as we got towards the later game, as Asian Invasion were able to find their power spikes, it was just, they had so much burst damage between the Echo and the Kennen, and then Goach, of course, from range as well, and it just felt like the sides weren't really ready for it.
Yeah, a couple things. Of course, we had that one split call towards the dragon there when of course, Vi was trying to take that. That was one thing to take a quick note of. So if you're Akuma, that's a really easy thing to fix up. Obviously, if you want to play for an objective, or you want to play for anything across the map, it's usually best to full commit to it. That means send everybody if you're able to push a mid wave, which unfortunately ended up being a lot of the cost of their mid inhibitor. Actually, they didn't contest that mid wave, ended up losing it, and then as that happened, of course, we had Asian Invasion push in and take that inhibitor. But yeah, it definitely comes down to getting control of the mid wave whenever you're contesting for either neutral, whether it's Baron, whether it's Dragon, and if you're able to get that, then you can rotate into the river, then you can set up control, look for picks with death sentences. But unfortunately, it felt like a couple steps were missed there at some points there from Akuma, and while I think they played excellent early to mid, when it came to late there, their decision making just wasn't quite enough, and I think they did a great job. I mean, you still have to deal, and you got to think about it from their point of view too, right? Like it's a mountain soul. That's a scary thing. You don't want to give that up. So you know that you need to play for the mountain dragon. You know that you need to make sure that you can get it, but at what cost is it gonna end up impacting you? You need to be able to push that mid wave first. So if you get that wave push, of course, you have Asian Invasion not able to like pressure like your base, but yeah, just long story short, it felt like a couple steps were missed there from Akuma towards the later side of the game, but still overall greatly played by both teams. And we'll see what happens for game 2. As you know, we're going to have some adaptations, I'm sure, from both teams.
Absolutely. Certainly some very fixable mistakes on the side of Akuma's Scythes. Some things that they can absolutely look to shore up, to tidy up in looking towards the second game. But just to close out our thoughts on game number 1 here, ultimately it was, of course, the comfort picks, the team fighting for Asian Invasion that was able to get them the victory, as well as the macro play, of course, as you already mentioned. But who's our POG? For choosing one person, is it the Jinx? Is it Goach on top of those damage charts? Is it the Hong Kong player on his patented cannon mid, those big slicing maelstroms in the team fights? Who would you look towards?
I mean, you could give it to a lot of the members of that team. I think personally myself, I'm going to have to give it to Woshi at the end. I think Woshi ended up playing the Echo pretty dang well. I mean,
Two Dragon Steals?
That's exactly it, right? Because I think those Dragon Steals were more impactful than pretty much anything in that game. Being able to, of course, have that soul to threaten is so much of an impact, and we saw it. Asian Invasion played really well around that, and I think, yeah, I have to give it to Woshi. I think he played the early game well. He ended up getting out to an early lead. Actually ended up outpacing by there too for a little bit with the clear as well. So as the game went on, he was definitely strong and you could feel it. And I think he made some good decisions and just executed well.
Yeah, definitely. You know me, Turk, always jungler love. She had a great game, no doubt about it. Honorable mention to Happy Out. Was absolutely winning out in that 1v1 against Alive. A lot of pressure up there in the top lane, and is apparently the MVP if you ask Twitch chat. See a lot of Happy Out.
Happy Out played great too, for sure. No, everybody played very well on the side of Asian Invasion. So congratulations to them. That's a great game 1. We'll have to see exactly what happens here for game 2 as Akuma will have side select. So we'll see exactly what they decide to do. Maybe they decide to stay on red, or maybe they want that first pick for themselves. Maybe they're looking to grab the Jinx.
Indeed. We'll find out soon. Be right back.
I mean, yeah, at this point, it's really game one. You basically saw what AI wanted to do. Pick Jinx, and Jinx is really safe to begin with, and then accelerate that Jinx with Amelia. So
Definitely. It worked out pretty well for him, Turk. I believe they are going to have the blue side once again, if we're not mistaken. The side of Asian Invasion will. Are you expecting them to just go ahead and lock in that Jinx on B1 once again? Or are we maybe concerned about Ratchet's Thresh, that we need to take it away from him? Because it was a pretty solid game on the Thresh. With the Jinx on B1, it worked. I mean, what more can you ask?
yeah, I mean, really, at this point, what I expect, honestly, is I think Akuma will actually just ban the Jinx. I think that's what they'll do, because they've decided to keep the thread. So they value their counter picks on whatever they want, whether it's their solos. I don't expect it to be the top lane. I mean, they could, of course, do that, but generally speaking, they tend to play a lot more weak side tops. So maybe you could see something like that, but I expect a jungle counter pick and probably a big counter pick like what we saw in game number 1. And I think the center worked out really, really well for them. Just unfortunately, it wasn't quite enough with the damage and the scaling that AI did have, and obviously their decision making.
Yeah, that is, did seem like it was where everything pretty much fell apart for the side of Akuma. As you said, they played quite well, through the early and mid game. The counter picks, while the Ornn in the top side did struggle a little bit. Was the Ornn actually picked earlier? Yeah, the Ornn was picked before the Jack, so that was blind Ornn in the top lane for Alive. But certainly, the Syndra did work out extremely well, so wanting to hold on to that R5 counter pick, I think does make some sense.
If you're Akuma, you might even consider banning the Kennen here. That's an option that you do have. Of course, you had that counter pick to the Kennen, and while it worked out in lane, there's no doubt that you got some advantages there if you're on the side of Syndra. When it came to the later stages, you could just see the proficiency that this Kennen brings to AI. The opportunities that he has when his flash is available, it's just, there's a ton, and it's really easy execution, which is the biggest, most important thing too.
As we can see, Akuma has gone for that Jinx ban that you were looking for, Turk. So that is exactly what the call is going to be, and then the Echo on B1. So it is going to, since the Jinx is no longer available, that is going to be the priority for the Asian Invasion.
Yeah, it is, and that's an interesting first pick, but obviously you can see his comfort, and comfort is king, generally speaking here, so they will lock in that Echo, and Akuma will have a lot of time to really think about that pick here. And the Udyr I love to see.
You like the Udyr. Why are we happy about the Udyr, Turk?
Udyr tends to get really tanky really quick, and he doesn't have to build too many tanky items. Once he has Demonic Embrace, that champion really starts to come online, and the opportunities that he has in terms of scaling and a front line that he can bring to a team is a lot. And this Tristana, I do like as well. This is definitely a flex pick here, so we'll have to see where this ends up going. This could go, obviously, mid, or it could go bot.
Trying to use red side for all it's worth, right? Flexing those picks as much as possible. But yeah, I definitely agree with your assessment of the Udyr. For a champion that rushes Demonic Embrace, he really does get shockingly tanky very, very quickly. So it does seem like a reasonably strong pick for the side of Akuma Scythes, and specifically, of course, for Jofu in the jungle there. Assuming, of course, it is a jungle Udyr, because I guess there's also, the outside chance it could be top lane Udyr or something.
I suppose, yeah. Very, very small likelihood, but it could be for sure. And we actually have the Lulu coming in, being picked up there. They could have had the option, of course, to ban it as well. We'll see this Tristana. I'm not entirely sure where it's going, but I do know that the Tristana does do well into the Zeri. We'll have to see exactly where that champion does end up going, but as we mentioned, flex picks are very important, especially on red side too, because you do have that counter. Not once, but twice. So, bans coming in. Melio, I like that. I think that's a respectable ban, especially with the Zeri. You don't want to see that again at all.
Yeah, definitely the case. I think the Melio did make things pretty difficult for Akuma in that last game.
That's a quick ban too. That's a really quick ban.
In terms of classic Zeri pairings, that one is probably at the top of the list, so seems like a pretty good ban there as well. Like the support focus. Last ban now for the Asian Invaders. It's going to be the Talia, so a top ban and a mid ban. Although I guess Malphite is a flex as well now these days, isn't he?
Yes, he is actually. You might see something like a Rakan coming up from the side of AI. That could be something that we could see. I've seen Zeri and the Rakan do pretty well in a lot of other leagues, LPL, SK, so we'll see. But Akuma, of course, the ball's in their court right now, and I expect probably an R4 top lane, which which is what we saw in game 1. So we'll see the Ahri coming in here. Interesting. So the Tristana is going to go bot lane into the Zeri, which that is definitely a favorable matchup on the side of Akuma, and they do have the Lulu on their side as well to kind of give it that bit more of scaling. And I do like the Lulu a lot into Echo, and I like it a lot into Irelia too. That point and click polymorph is disgusting.
Absolutely, can really shut down a lot of what those champions are trying to do, right? Trying to dive into that backline and one-shot those squishies. If you are a squirrel, you're probably not going to be able to one-shot anybody. So definitely something to keep our eyes on. And I guess with the Ahri pick, the side of Akuma sides are kind of calling their shots that it's probably going to be Irelia into the mid lane. And it looks like they might be correct as we're hovering some top lane champions now for the side of Asian Invasion. What is it going to be for Happy Owl this time around?
Yeah, we'll see here. We have the cannon hover. So that it could be going top.
Maybe spoke too soon.
That's actually what I expected to see. In the Gwen, they're just assuming right now that Akuma is going to be picking a tank top. Of course, if they do end up picking something like the Scion or the Orin, they're going to have a very difficult time into that Gwen. So that's just that's basically saying we know what you're going to do. So let's see what you end up doing about it.
Yeah, you know, it is Akuma, though. They saved their R5 pick for alive, so I have to imagine that he's got some other things that he must be willing to pull out besides just another tank champion. What's it gonna be? They're out of time. They need to lock something in. The Alawi.
Wow, you get to see an Alawi. Okay,
yeah,
that's
she's
exciting.
into 4 melees there.
Oh, you're right. That's so exciting. Actually, that's a really, really good pick here. I like that a lot. We'll see how it plays out. I wish I knew a lot about Alawi, but I just don't, I'll be honest with you. But I'm definitely excited to see it. I would not be surprised at all to see Akuma playing towards that top side with that pick. I don't think you have to spam gank it or anything, but I think 1 or 2 ganks, if you're able to get it ahead into that Gwen, I think things could really start to take off, because if I know anything about a Gwen, she tends to have a hard time dealing with somebody who can actually basically just go toe-to-toe with her. So Alawi definitely could do that. We'll see how that top lane goes. That's a matchup I'm really excited to see.
Actually, Turk, it looks like there's something else happening here. So according to the client chat, it looks like that Alawi is actually a Darius.
Okay. Darius, funnily enough, another champion that ended up popping in my mind was the Darius too. Darius does extremely well in the melees, especially something like Rel. Rel, if you do have to full commit, obviously, with your W, if you fully engage, the likelihood of you being able to escape a Darius is pretty low. So obviously, if he's able to stack those hammer stacks on you, then yeah, things can get into trouble real quick. So that Darius is a really good pick there for the side of Akuma. And yeah, I think that champion actually alone will harbor a lot of attention topside, so I expect something to see like the Ghost Flash on the side of Darius, where they play a lot for really the Darius himself, and then eventually he's able to group up with the team, force fights, and then really just kind of see if they can't snowball. And yeah, we'll see really how Akuma decides to play this game, but I like that R5 pick.
It does feel like maybe a little bit less late game available this time around for Akuma. I mean, it's certainly like they don't have, it's not like they don't have any late game. I mean, Tristana obviously scales quite well. Udyr is going to be really, really tanky, as we've already illustrated. But Darius and Ahri really feel like they get their biggest spikes in the mid game, and then they start to fall off a little bit. It's not like they're terrible in the late game or anything, but that's not necessarily when they're strongest. And they're against a Zeri. So that is something that we maybe need to consider, Turk.
We definitely do. At the end of the day, though, if you're Akuma, you know, you can rest assured that AI has to fight you. They have to close gap. So they have to engage onto this Darius. They have to engage onto this Lulu and this Tristana. So no matter what, you're absolutely right when it comes to the later game. The Ahri, of course, is going to have a bit harder of a time. And of course, the Darius will as well. But rest assured, AI has to come into you. There's no sense in you having to rush and chase them or anything like that. So I think Akuma's comp is really good for what AI needs to do. And I think a lot of this early to mid game is going to come off the back of, once again, this Echo if he's able to get ahead, and of course if we have this Udyr on the same thing. So both jungles have a lot of agency this game, and we'll see what lanes they decide to play to.
So in other words, Turk, you really like Akuma's answers and what Asian Invasion have put together, and you think they do have the stronger draft overall?
I think. I mean, I was wrong game 1, but game 2, I've got to be right?
That is where I was going with this. It's like, oh, it's definitely cursed that, like, Asian Invasion 2-0. Call it right now.
Yeah, I'll just curse it. I'll say Akuma has a better draft in AI level 2. Oh, yeah. No, honestly, I think, yeah, at the end of the day, I like Akuma's draft once again. Like, AI, there's definitely comfort picks here, and I like it. And not all of it's meta, and it doesn't have to be at all. by any means. Like I said, I do like it. Like the Irelia mid has a lot of opportunities to look for kills on this Ahri, especially 3-6. So if there's any angles there that they can find the 2v2, they most certainly win with that. Echo Irelia is definitely strong enough to take out your Ahri 3-6, no doubt about that. So there are lanes that AI can play to. They do have scaling in this area. They of course do have engage with that realm, and we'll have to see exactly how they play around this. But yeah, their team fights, their engages, they need to be very decisive. They need to be full commits. There's no backing off or re-engaging. It's really just like you go in, you fight, and then you full commit on one target. You make sure that the target goes down. If not, you could end up dealing with a Darius with 5 stacks of hemorrhage, and before you know it, your whole team's dead.
Yeah, absolutely. And Darius is not traditionally thought of as a reset champion, but he really does kind of function that way. If he is able to get that first execute in a team fight, he tends to be able to clean those fights up pretty easily. So definitely something to look out for as well, especially into all these melees, as we've already highlighted. Should be able to be very comfortable in that 1v1 in the top lane as well.
Yeah, for sure. And it actually, it's not just the Darius on the side of Akuma that has those resets. We also have the Ahri, of course, having that reset, and the Tristana too. So if one kill comes in from the side of Akuma, there's surely more to follow.
Yeah, it seems pretty convincing. You know, my co-caster throwing his weight behind the side of Akuma's sides once again. They do seem like still means something there, Turk. No doubt in my mind. But we'll just have to see if that featherweight is enough. If that's the feather that they needed to break the backs of the Asian invasion. How similar are they to camels in this instance? We'll just have to find out. Don't go anywhere, guys. Game 2, hitting your monitors right after this.
Summoner's Rift.
Okay, my friends, on to the Rift we go for the second time tonight. We have same size as game number 1, but maybe a little bit of a different level 1 Turk.
Yeah, we got some level 1 shenanigans here coming in from Asian Invasion. Looks like they were looking to get a pick on that Darius, who we did know we do have to pay attention to. Elected to go the Ghost and Ignite there, so that's pretty interesting to see. Oftentimes you'll see something like the Ghost Flash on the Darius, but Alive obviously feeling himself right here. Feels like with that Ignite, he's going to be able to accelerate that Darius that much more and really start snowballing.
Minions have spawned.
I am seeing that the sides are backwards, it looks like, over there on the stream. It is Asian Invasion on the blue side once again. Looks like I've got that corrected for us. Excellent news. And, of course, Akuma side's on the red side. So, yes, as you were just saying, Turk, we do have a little bit of deep vision that is going to be spotting out Woshi on this blue buff. And Udyr are going to be starting on his own blue buff, unspotted. So, a little bit of an early advantage.
That's right here. In both teams. Oh, here we go. Pika Pika looking to trade.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be Rel going in at level 1. Explosive charge on, though. A lot of return damage coming out from Turtle. Heal expended for the movement speed. Trying to win out a little bit harder, maybe, in this trade. Will be able to do so. But no summoners expended by the side of Asian Invasion, as the top laners also getting a little frisky early on here.
We got action everywhere.
Yeah, I think this is actually very Darius favored. Happy Owl's maybe not going to be as happy during this particular laning phase as he was last game.
Yeah, for sure. He's going to be a little sad right now. Give him some time. He might have an opportunity here, but the Darius is definitely going to be a strong pick. Still has that Ignite, of course. So, yeah, lots of kill threat definitely from that top side. And we saw Ratchet blow that heal earlier there on, looking for the extended trade, which of course Tristana and Lulu will win, obviously just due to them both being ranged. So, nothing crazy nothing really crazy happening here early, but lots of action. Both teams willing to kind of skill check each other here, so we like to see that. Big fan, big fan.
Absolutely, you know, lots of high-level players in this game, at least high level compared to myself, at the very least. So, you know, we take those. Should definitely be. It's really a treat, you know, honestly, to be able to cast people that are this skilled. It's not something that we as amateur casters actually get the chance to do all that often, so definitely appreciate that. And we do have, of course, we do see Hong Kong player with the Ignite in the mid lane. So, and this is what Irelia does so well, right? Looking for those all-ins early on, lands the flawless duet, but has to be careful with the range disadvantage. You don't want to overcommit onto the Ahri when you don't necessarily have the kill pressure. Looking for when Woshi makes his way to join up with HK players here in the mid lane. Really going to see when it's on.
For sure. Got some healthy trading there coming in from mid lane. And top side too. Solo laner's just willing to go toe-to-toe right now. We do have Udyr towards this top side here, playing for this top side crab. He's going to grab that while Echo, of course, does head to the spots that crab. Will be spotted on that ward, though, so they are aware of where that Echo is. Moshi does have, a beautiful buffer, though.
Beautiful buffer there, as you said.
Beautiful.
Definitely.
Gorgeous.
Very nice from Turtle.
Yep. That would have been a real shame had of course, Turtle ended up going down for that, but obviously recognizing where that Echo is, and he's not too worried about it. Clearly.
Chance. Oh, what was that?
Oh, so just say clearly.
Yes,
he's feeling himself right now, and that's good. You like to see that.
Had a great game last game on the Aphelios, right? As Happy Owl. He's trying to trade back onto the Darius. Alive is taking a lot of damage, but not enough damage. It's going to be the first blood going over to Akuma Scythes. Joku picks it up on the Udyr as that stun will land from Pika Pika, and it's the rocket jump forward, though. Turtle able to get the reset on that as well. Has another rocket jump if the Tristana wants to go in for the Rel here in mid lane. Also trading fish, level up, and Hong Kong player out of mana. In a little bit of a tricky situation, but Irelia will be able to disengage. Wanting to get the minion wave in here, I guess, but taking some more damage from the Q2 there. Hong Kong player really risky to stay around now. Gonna land. Oh, committing Ignite, flashing forward, looking for the kill. Does the Irelia have it? He does! Hong Kong player barely able to make that a 1-for-1. All summoners used fish, I imagine, will be teleporting back on the respawn.
Fighting everywhere, every lane, consistently, over and over, and Jofu is towards the spot side. I don't expect much to happen here, but Ratchet and Turtle did have a really good position with this wave, and of course Goja and Pika Pika are unfortunately going to have to reset while this wave is frozen here. So game state right now, I just forgot, they picked Tristana. It's not as frozen as what I thought at all, so that's good. Okay, they don't have to worry too much about that. The wave actually isn't frozen, they'll be fine, but unfortunate time to have to reset there. Things will be a-okay though, but I mean, I think Akuma, even with that 1-for-1 going in mid lane, still coming out on top there at the end of it. Of course, we do have the 2 kills. The Udyr getting the 1, of course, up top side, the first blood, so that, of course, does accelerate that champion that much more. And we see with that gold lead, he actually ended up going in for the boots of swiftness. So he's going to be quick, very quick.
Yeah, gonna need to be, right? So that's just how the Udyr likes to do things. He likes to run fast, you know. Run, stop, job done, the old adage. Not actually as true as it used to be, as Udyr does have some more things he can offer these days, like maybe a gank in the mid lane. That's going to be the charm landing, and Hong Kong player running rapidly out of HP. Going for the Vanguard's edge there, thinking that maybe if we just had a chance to get off some auto attacks, the healing might have been enough to get another trade kill, but not going to be this time around. And now that is 2 kills for Fish on the Ahri pretty early on.
Yeah, this Ahri's getting accelerated now. That wave ends up crashing too, so Hong Kong player is going to miss that. And for a second, I was wondering if he'd be able to win that, but obviously he does end up going down. And yeah, Jofu just in the right spot at the right time once again here, and that Udyr paying dividends at the moment. They're definitely happy to get that, and as time goes on, things are going to get better and better for the side of Akuma. As this comp does scale. Stopping the backs, Pika Pika's going to take 1 turret shot from that, but still this wave state is pretty good here for the side of Asian Invasion. Looks like they're going to get this dragon off the back of this bot side prio too.
Absolutely. Love that rotation over from the mid lane as well. Hong Kong player coming over on the Irelia just to make absolutely sure that we can lock down this dragon, something that we didn't see, right, from Akuma's sides in the previous game when they sent Jofu over to do that dragon solo, and kind of came back to bite him a little bit.
But we do have set up on the top side here for Akuma, of course, though. And this Herald is going to be up in 45. Ratchet does have a reset. We'll pay close attention to what he decides to do here. Of course, he can just head bot side and look to play around this Tristana. But that Rift Herald will be up here in the next 30 seconds. We do have Udyr top side, so wouldn't be surprised to see that go down within the next minute, minute and a half. Maybe a dive can be set up bot side, but it looks like we're going to reset here from the side of AI. And Jofu in a pretty good position once again.
Yeah, we are seeing Ratchet start to move up towards this top side. We got a gank happening as well, but Happy out just going to expend the ghost. To make sure
I would have liked to
not
see
in.
a bit more patience there. That wave is pushing into you, so we got a full commit here.
Oh, alive, the needlework. Is it going to be enough damage? The execute is not there in time, and the Gwen wins out in the 1v1. Happy Owl, building on that momentum coming out of game number 1, continues to win out in the top lane 1v1.
That is a really good 1-for-0. Considering you just saw Jofu up top side, you take that fight, you win it while alive, has the ignite, and of course he expends it, but it's just not even a trade, it's just a 1-for-0. And Gwen, if you're able to scale, you're going to do so much damage. Turtle looking for a little action. Coach has done a great job here though. He's actually up for CS, and he does have a wave crashing here too. He should be able to get a lot of this, and they're doing a great job. This series looking like she's going to be able to scale into this mid game pretty well. Of course, you're really going to need those 2 items before you start to do any damage, but with the current state of this game, you're definitely happy if you're AI.
Absolutely, that's exactly how the Zeri wants to play it, right? She just wants to survive the laning phase, get the items, and then look towards those team fights is where she can really make the biggest possible impact. And I do feel like, while I completely agree that it has been very well played from Goach, you know, able to stay safe in this lane, I do also think it's a little bit of a product of the Lulu pairing alongside Tristana. You know, Asian Invasion, Akuma sides, they wanted to deny the Lulu pairing with the Zeri, but with Tristana, it's not really all that powerful. I'm gonna have to stop myself. The Hong Kong player is getting ganked again in the mid lane. Charm lands, and the Aurelia is looking pretty dead on my screen. There it is. Jofu gonna pick up their second of the game, as now Woshi is going to look to punch back in the top side. Is alive, going to cease to be once again. No, he does have the ghost, and the Darius will be able to zoom back towards his own turret. I think I was saying something about bot lane.
Yeah, you were talking about Ratchet, and is the pick that we actually ended up seeing from that Lulu, which is R3. They could have also had the choice to pick another champion and of course ban the Lulu, which is something that we could have saw. But I do agree with you. You don't tend to see the Tristana with a lot of enchanters. Generally speaking, you see the Tristana with something more of a gauge, you know, like Leona, Nautilus, maybe even Thresh, something along those lines. But I don't think the Lulu's bad by any means. It's just an interesting take that Akuma decided to do, and that's an adaptation that some teams are willing to make and other teams not so much.
It just doesn't give as much kill pressure in the lane.
That's right.
That's really the main downside of the Lulu, is you don't get that early aggressive option necessarily.
Yeah, Lulu is still good into the diving team comp that that Asian Invasion has set up, so it's definitely not a bad pick. It's just you don't generally see these two champions paired together, but in this situation, I don't think it's bad.
Yeah, it certainly could still work out very, very well for Akuma sides. You know, you highlighted coming out of the draft some of the really favorable interactions that Lulu has into this Asian invasion composition. And, you know, Lulu is another one of those champions that does actually scale quite well, not in like a carry sense, but in an enchanter sense. The Lulu is going to offer a ton once we get towards that late game. Not a bad pick by any means. We are seeing Fish continue to win out in these trade sidesteps, the flawless duet. So Vanguard's Edge is going to come out there from Hong Kong Player, but we're looking at the top lane as Joker is looking for a gank once again on the Happy Hour. Gwen running out of HP, the apprehend into the dunk, and it's going to be Alive that gets a revenge kill. First of the game for the Darius. Meanwhile, Fish was able to flash
That's a great
escape from the Vanguard's Edge. Now it's going to be Woshi looking for kill conversions in mid. The Herald is actually going to be the play. Fish trying to defend. It's just going to be just that charge, the expected value for Asian's Herald immediately.
They'll pick up a couple plates from that Herald, so not all is lost, but tempo-wise, you got to give it to Jofu right now on this Udyr. I mean, he has the opportunity to be able to scale into this mid to late game for free, obviously versing that Echo with not much early pressure. The dueling I don't think is going to end up winning it either for the Echo, unless, you know, Woshi is really accelerated. Hong Kong player's looking for something else too, though.
Yeah, pretty far forward there. Has to flash. The Everfrost will be able to survive. Now
Turtle?
Jofu chasing, but Turtle is also here. Flies in from the side with the rocket jump. They're able to get the kill onto the mid laner. Now it's only Woshi in the middle of 4, and the Echo tries to go for the ultimate, but it's not going to save him. 2 quick kills going over to Akuma.
Yeah, Hong Kong player, maybe he's just feeling a little bit of the pressure there, but he's definitely overextended. Obviously, that's going to lead to his 4th death here now, and happily Akuma's going to pick that one up alongside this dragon here. So obviously it will not be a Mountain Soul, and that will be a little unfortunate, but we'll have to pay close attention to what soul we do end up getting from this, but that's another dragon. You're happy to grab that if you're on the side of Akuma, and right now you feel like this game is going exactly the way that you need it to.
Definitely 7-2 on the scoreboard, and pretty comfortable 3,000 gold lead that Akuma have managed to open up with.
We actually do see the Infernal Soul coming in, which I love. Big fan of that one. Extra damage in this team comp is going to be very important.
Yeah, do you feel like it's actually stronger for one comp over the other? Do you feel like it's pretty even?
I mean, generally speaking, anytime that you're trying to do as much damage as what you're trying to do on the side of Akuma, it's really good. But I mean,
obviously, Infernal Soul is going to be great for anybody who gets it.
Really,
relatively.
Exactly. At the end of the day, it's still going to be an extremely good soul. I mean, you could have ended up getting something maybe like the Cloud there, which wouldn't have been the best thing, but you end up getting the Infernal Soul at the end of the day, and that'll be a happy one. And obviously, with the resets that you do have on Akuma's side, after you get 1 kill, you're going to get more.
Ooh, true. Yeah, with the extra burst potential to get that initial kill, it does feel like it would be exceptionally powerful, as that is going to be the needlework expended, as Woshi also trying to find a play in that top lane, but Alive with Ghost back up off cooldown, has movement speed to get away from that attempt.
Fish doing a really good job of dodging these Irelia stunts here.
For sure. Yeah, Ahri is relatively well equipped to do that. You know, has the additional movement speed on the W to be able to sidestep those, but definitely been playing it out really, really well. Yeah. And Fish had a great game number 1 as well, right? Despite the loss, the Central was like 14-5 or something, I think, at the end of the game. It was still a really great performance from Fish.
Yeah, for sure.
Also.
And we just didn't really see any pressure being applied mid, when obviously Ahri is at her weakest stage. Pre-6, when she doesn't have that ultimate, those 3 charges get you out of pretty much everything. And we're going to see right here, this
Fish gonna get stunned up by the Convergence, and now the Vanguard's Edge will lock down that kill on Ahri. The Caster Curse does come through. Strofu now trying to get underneath with the tier 1 charge. Woshi has the Chrono Break to get himself back to safety. And the Udyr will survive. Just that 1 kill in the mid lane, but Asian Invasion starting to come back a little bit.
I just gotta stop talking sometimes.
I mean, it's our job to talk about the game, man. We curse once in a while. You know, it really can't be helped, unfortunately. You know, condolences to Fish, obviously. It was not an intentional curse, but these things do happen.
Well, but, you know, if you're on the side of Fish, like, over that arc, you feel like you're pretty safe, but that parallel conversions from Echo, like, Woshi, that was just perfectly placed. Catches her exactly off that first Spirit Charm, so just great positioning, great placement, and yeah, you net a kill, and that's something that you 100% needed. That's a shutdown, too. I think that was, what, 300 gold? So 600 gold right there.
Yeah, and straight into the Irelia's pockets. Pretty much exactly where you want that money as well. Bleed of the Ruined King and Merc Treads completed now for the Irelia. We'll find that duet flawlessly onto the Lulu, but not correctly, unwilling to fully commit.
We see a bit of posturing here towards this top side. Of course, this Rift Herald is available. Would not be surprised to see Jofu start this up right now with the top prio that he has, and soon to be mid prio as well. Turtle could get some good damage on this turret here.
Should be able to.
Yeah.
The crash down from Pika Pika only onto the minion wave, just trying to clear this one out as quickly as possible. Urkel stands for now, but maybe not for long. You know, seeing this second Herald take. Rude. Oh, but the contest? No, it is Smite secure to Jofu, able to lock down the objective this time around, and Woshi didn't quite have the ultimate. The chrono break was just seconds from coming off cooldown, and now that's the first reset that maybe they needed on the side of Akuma's side. It's going to be the rocket jump forward from Turtle, and it's going to be the Darius who picks up the kill. Goes now underneath the turret, able to flash into the Raptor, pivot fish on the chase. The last spear rush forward into the Everfrost, and Ari easily able to lock down at that kill, just like that turn. 3 kills in the mid lane, the Herald summoned, and just in an instant, it seems like it all fell apart for Asian Invasion.
I don't know how you live if you're on the side of Asian Invasion at all with all the mobility that you see Akuma having. Like, I think Tristana rocket jumped maybe 4 or 5 times there. Turtle closing the gap multiple times, getting those extra kills. Like, Akuma's comp is just accelerating at a crazy pace. Crazy pace.
Hong Kong player finds the stun into the Vanguard's edge. Nice Everfrost from Fish to try and buy a little bit of space, but has another Q. Does the Irelia and is going to be able to find the solo kill. Hide on bush for Hong Kong player. And Irelia picks up her third.
Hong Kong player netting that kill, that 1-for-1, that 1-for-0, that's absolutely massive. While we see Happy Al on the top side grabbing that turret bounty, and maybe we'll see another turret bounty here too. We do have Jofu here to match, but of course we do see that Rel's around as well, so nope. Not another turret bounty, but still one top side. I mean, at the end of the day, you're 4K behind, it's 17 minutes, it's not ideal, but you have a Zeri, you have options here in this team fight. You just feel like Akuma, at this point, they have an easier to execute comp, and really the onus is on AI to get something set up here.
Whoa. Pika Pika gonna be able to get away with the crash down. Turtle not able to find the reset on the jump that time.
Yeah,
But
one
with
more
that
auto.
trade, yeah, Hong Kong player in base, no TP, means this is going to be river control firmly held by Akuma's sides. Looking to get this dragon, but it's Woshi on the Echo once again. We've seen him steal these several times tonight already. Turk, can he get another one?
I mean, if there's a will, there's a way, and he's definitely looking for it, but we do have the polymarker to keep that in mind, and we also have Darius.
Spotted out though by Alive.
Great job.
Identifies the location of the Echo. That's exactly where Woshi stole it from last time, and Alive's
right.
not going to let that happen again.
We see the adaptations this time, of course, going around the wall, making sure that the Echo has no opportunity to be able to steal that, and that's just a really good heads-up play there from Alive, recognizing the opportunity that he has, and you can see the spam pings coming into that mid lane, and that's exactly what they should be doing here. Jofu could buy as much time as he wants, maybe route the enemy, force them up to take a longer path, while Akuma's pushing into this mid wave. Right now, we don't have the wave just yet, but they're looking to cut them off, trying to deny them from getting into their own base, and that, oh my goodness, that Abraham almost landed.
Not quite though. Charm not, or stun not going to land either, and that is going to be a charm landing on the Echo, who gets stung, who gets executed, and that's going to be the side of Akuma sides, looking to clean up the fight now, but over the wall, once again, Hong Kong player looking to find the outplay. He will eventually go down with him, and now the chase down on the Glen. The needles are not going to be able to do enough work, and there's another charm landing from Fish. A lot of damage from Goji, able to trade another back, but in the end, a 5-for-3 fight. Akuma side is on top.
And that starts right off the back of all of that chains you see on Moshi, and unfortunately he just doesn't have the ultimate to be able to get into that. And once one person goes down, we've talked about it, I don't know how many times, once one goes down, more than likely there's going to be others to follow. You just see the Tristana rocket jumping from one person to the next, the Ari dashing around after every kill, obviously another dash. It's just, at this point it's too much right now, and Asian Invasion, I'm not sure what you, I don't know what you do at this point. I mean, I feel like you need to push out waves, deny as much vision from your own jungle as possible, maybe get set up in some neutral bush, maybe like a pixel or something, and just look to camp. Maybe just death bush it. Because I don't know how you get back into this game. Tempo's not on your side. Akuma has first move to every objective.
Yeah.
It feels hard.
They don't have very much space to work with the side of Asian Invasion. It feels like everybody on the team is pretty far behind. You know, Zeri does have the second item completed, but really she kind of wants her third before she's really feeling great about her position, as Woshi is going to be able to smite away that blue buff.
Yep. Yeah, for sure, and we can see the vision denial already coming in here. Looks like they are going to start it up right away. Of course, they won't have the opportunity for this mid push right away here, so we'll see. We do have AI walking in. The Baron's going low, but it's not that fast.
It's not, but it is still a T1 Baron attempt from Akuma Scythes. Imagine they're going to be looking for the turn here. Woshi behind the Baron pit over the wall. The fight has broken out as Goku on the front line trying to take up this damage. Mika looking to go back, and it'll be Darius and the Rel that fall first in this fight. Couple of frontliners down, lots of low health bars. The explosive charge is going to be enough as Turtle blows up the Gwen. 2 for 1 now in favor of the Scythes, and they're looking back towards the Word.
They sure are. We have Woshi waiting on the side here. This is scary if you're Akuma.
Yeah, Echo still has everything. Woshi can still look for this play, despite being down a member. Goku still alive as well. Still has Splash and ult on the Zeri. Some kind of low health bars. To the side of Akuma as well. They're going to look for the turn once again as the Spark Surge is popping. Look at Goat on the back line untouched. Is the Zeri and the Sparks, they do fly. It's going to be a kill on the Turtle and Fish as both of the carries are down. And now Hong Kong player looking to chase on the support as well with the Blast Cone. Ratchet will be able to make it to safety, but Akuma Scythes just overstepping just a bit there, Turk.
They wanted it all and unfortunately ended up coming out effectively empty-handed. We're looking for a bit more. Maybe they can catch Goach while he pushes out this wave here. We'll have to see. Oh!
No flash. Oh! No, Ratchet!
Oh! Wow. Okay, that's another kill. Yeah, you know, I like the initial play from Akuma. I don't think it's bad to start up that Baron, but at some point you got to recognize that you just don't have enough damage. You need to be able to push out those waves. If you push out that mid wave, you force the enemy team to react. And in this case, they had all the time in the world to just sit there and wait. And while you take damage from the Baron, you're getting chipped and poked out. I mean, the opportunity for Asian evasion just becomes more and more for each second that passes by.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what we saw.
Of their lack of Baron DPS that you identified pretty much immediately. You know, they don't really have anybody to shred through that Baron. Yeah, like, yeah, Turtle has Kraken Slayer. Like, the Tristana can do some work there, but he's really the only one. Like, it's Everfrost Ari. It's not Leon Trees or anything. So it's kind of all on the Tristana to try and burst that down. And they were clearly kind of looking for the turn that whole time. They just weren't really quite able to execute on it. You know, you can't give Woshi another chance to go for the steal, right? He's demonstrated multiple times already tonight that the Echo is consistently able to find... He's over the wall, he gets the double stun, Woshi, and look for it again, and over the wall comes Pika Pika with the Magnus Storm. They're looking to pick up the Lulu, but Ratchet flashed away, staying alive. Woshi with the flash to follow, gonna be able to get that kill. Gonna be a kill on the Aurelia now in return, but it's alive, coming in from the flank. It's the apprehend onto Soldiers, and there he's gonna get executed by the guillotine. No! So able to stay alive, able to take down the Darius, and now it's gonna be Turtle dropping as well. Oh, just when it was looking so good for the side of Akuma Scythes, it was the side of Asian Invasion that found some critical angles. And we come back now with this one. Pika maybe a little bit too far forward. Gonna get destroyed by the Orb of Deception from Fish. One more kill going back over. 3v3 now on the map. Go looking to zone. The enemy players away from the Dragon Pit. Jofu moving forward. Does not have Smite though, but the side of Asian Invasion probably don't know that. They're gonna finish the objective. It's locked down by Woshi. 2 dragons, 1 now on the board, and it will be the disengagement fights.
Good call. That's a reset. I mean, crucially, Akuma wanted to contest for that dragon, but we saw alive. He was up top side that whole time. Woshi had free opportunity to look for that, and he throws out a W. It's perfect placement. It just happens to be. He finds a double stun, and they full commit. They end up getting not 1, not 2, but I believe 3 kills there. I'm not entirely sure about the exact number, but there's no doubt that that play absolutely goes in the favor of AI. They pick up that dragon, deny that soul point, and I mean, we were just looking at what, a 4K gold lead that's gone down to basically 2 now, so it's been halved. The opportunities here for tempo, vision setup are definitely on the side of AI now. You can see Rel obviously walking in there, prepping up a little bit of neutral vision, but yeah, game state is not that bad. They need to be careful up top here. They don't want to die and have to give up a Baron for free.
They definitely do not want to do that. Pika is probably going to die. After that failed crash down, didn't manage to get over the wall, going to try to flash towards safety. Does still have this tier 1 turret, but not going to be able to make it towards that turret in time. They get the kill onto the enemy support, and now Akuma Scythes with the numbers advantage once again, but there already is on the other side of the map. Fish does have to teleport, can join the team if you'd like to. I'm gonna take the tier 1 turret for now.
This is good posturing here from Akuma, just pushing the enemy team, of course, out of the jungle here, looking to deny this blue, of course. there's a good chance that they'll be able to do that here. But ultimately, this is all about... Okay. For some reason, I thought that Roshi got that. I'm dead convinced there. But this is all about this Baron, which we see them starting right now. And they definitely have the damage at this point. There's no doubt
Yeah,
just on 2 items. Closing in on 3. We'll see how close and how well they play this decisive decision making. Everything.
Position though, it's Woshi once again behind the Baron pit. Oh, Happy Aldo. Maybe looking a little bit caught out, gonna get stunned up. Gwen is immune though, thankfully, as Woshi's gonna get Everfrosted, is not immune, gonna get Charmed, gonna get blown up. Turtle finds the kill, and now once again, 5v4 on the map for the sides. Jofu, very, very fast, almost man, not gonna be able to catch anybody though. Hong Kong player could be in trouble over there on the flank. Will Aurelia be able to make it out? She will. Back onto the Baron, and no jungler alive for Age Invasion means this time it will be, I believe, commitment for the objective.
Yep.
Down pretty low.
Should grab this
Jofu should be able to get this. Does so. 5v4. It is the side of Age Invasion looking for the fight anyway, trying to take down these Barons. Got some low health cards. This is a very chaotic team, but it's Tika right in the thick of things. Gonna be able to take down the jungler. It's Turtle on the wrong side of that wall. The Tristana will also drop, and it's Gochu still alive, who manages to glide over the wall and pick himself up a triple, I believe. Very chaotic fight. There's only one Baron buff left remaining for the sides.
That's right, you grab the Baron, but at what cost? 4 members go down, Fish almost going down there too. And while it looked really good for Turtle there in that pit, he just didn't quite have enough damage. You can see that the engage coming in for Pika Pika. Gorgeous, beautifully set up there. Obviously with the chain CC coming in from Hong Kong player 2. They played that fight as good as they could. Of course they don't get the Baron, but they deny 4 on the side of the enemy team, and things are not too shabby if you are Asian Invasion right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's the risk, right? Yeah, they were up a member, but it was only 1 member, and there's still a lot of team fighting power with the 4-man squad from Asian Invasion. I also, it looks like Turtle has Flash. I don't know, maybe if it was just like seconds off cooldown or something in that last fight. I feel like the Tristana could have flashed out of the Baron pit and maybe lived, but also Zeri was able to just kind of glide over there as well, so maybe it wouldn't have mattered regardless.
Crucially, he does have it now, which is definitely the most important thing. As they begin this siege here on this inhibitor, it is exposed. I do expect this to go down.
Not any inhibitor turret to worry about anymore in the mid lane. Side of Akuma's Scythes, looking to put some pressure on. Only 1 cannon minion that's doing work for now, but with the assistance of the Tristana, should be enough. I guess waiting for that next wave maybe after all. Yeah, Woshi once again on the flank. Echo looking for an angle here. Not going to be able to find it just yet, but they do take down the cannon minion.
Akuma, you have to be aware of where that Rel is right now. If the pings are coming out, they recognize where Pika Pika is. That engage angle just isn't there. Turtle a little bit.
Sides on the threshold of bringing us to game 3. Will they be able to close it out? Pushing back the side of Asian Invasion. Right now they secure the inhibitor. They look to back away for now.
Sharp chest missing.
Is very scary. 3 items completed now for Coach.
Akuma, I want to see them push this mid wave and play for this dragon. I think if they're able to do that, they should be able to secure this, put themselves on slow play. They'll be in a really good position here. But I think they need to be able to full commit to this. We see Fish rotating through mid here now too. Probably just going to match around Hong Kong player, look to push this next mid wave, and then we'll see how things go. But we have the TP coming in already.
Definitely going to be a team fight, it looks like, here in the bot side river. Even footing, or at least as even as it can be in this game. The Dragon has been pulled out of the pit. Not really a full commitment from the sides on towards that objective just yet. They're slowly burning it down. They're looking for the fight. Once again, Doge stepping up, looking to get out a little bit of damage. Apprehend, not going to connect him alive.
Oh, not
the
this
pit,
time.
can't get the steal. He's never on though, and he's polymorph the Echo. He's just going to get blown up. The Lulu power does come through. And now Turtle going to be able to rocket jump away and stay safe in this fight. It's a double kill for Turtle and Tristana. Is going to be able to blow up the mid laner as well. The reset is far more than enough to win out in the team fight. Doge is still alive, but I don't think it's going to matter. It is not going to be a Zeri moment this time around. It is the Dragon into the 5-0 team fight, and Akuma Sides bring us to our deciding 3rd game.
That's a great job. That's a fantastic job. And I saw that a mile away as soon as that mid wave was pushed in. If they won that team fight, especially a clean fight like that, it's a 100% game. And off the back of an excellently executed team fight, we are going to have a game number 3.
Well played from the side. We were able to identify after game 1. It was a very closely fought battle, right? 37-minute slugfest that really felt like it was going back and forth. So we knew that the sides had it in them to take this second game, and
Yeah.
it's good to see that they were able to actually accomplish that.
For sure, and an important thing to note too. Obviously, Akuma was red game side or red side for game number 1, and of course for game number 2. So you saw the adaptations coming in here. The first pick, Echo, coming in, not really paying off the way that they were hoping. Of course, take a look at Jofu's scoreline. He's 3-2 and 24. Like the man just absolutely popped off there, and the Udyr just got the scale free. All the way through the mid game, all the way through the late game, became extremely tanky, impossible to kill, and off the back of Jofu, there's no doubt that game 2, the adaptations that people made were exactly what they needed to do. Just all around good drafting. That R5 Darius, I think, was kind of the cherry on top too.
Yeah, it was really nice. You know, the Gwen did have that one solo kill, I think, in the top lane on Alive, but for the most part, yeah, the Darius felt really strong in those fights, and definitely, you know, like the pick, just overall casual 13.5 KDA for Jofu.
For sure, and now we'll really have to see exactly what ends up happening now because, of course, AI haven't lost his second game, will, of course, have side select, so I expect them to take red. I would not be surprised about that at all. Happy Al definitely wants his counter picks with the types of champions that he plays, so I would not be surprised to see AI switch to red side there, and for this game number 3, I expect to see some exciting things here, no doubt, but yeah, it's very clear that on blue side, you know, looking back in hindsight, maybe it's not exactly best to first pick the Echo. Maybe it's better to look for an ADC or something that might be a bit more flexible. But of course, like I said before, comfort is king. So we'll see how both teams adapt for game number 3. And I am beyond excited to cast one more.
100%. You know, they've been a couple of good games so far, so absolutely expecting nothing less from our third game as well. But really quickly before we go to our break, let's get another POG vote from you there, Turk. Who are you thinking?
That one's, there's no question about that one. It's Jofu for sure.
Nice.
For
more jungler love.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, what, 29 kills and 27 like KP? Like, it's just, it just makes sense.
Yeah, 27 out of 29.
There's no debate. And everybody played well inside of Akuma, I think, honestly. I mean, a couple mishaps here and there, but that's going to happen anyways. But yeah, at the end of it, there's no doubt that Udyr absolutely just took control of this game.
Absolutely, and you love to see it. A couple of junglers picking up the POGs in our match tonight. Which one of them will be able to lead their team to victory in Game 3? We'll find out soon. Don't go anywhere. All right, my friends. One more time tonight, dropping hot and heavy into this Game 3 Champion Select. Will Woshi Garvin get his hands on the Echo for the third game in a row? Your thoughts, Turk?
I mean, possibly. I don't think it was much of a problem for Akuma at all in game number 2. I think they had a good answer into it.
Yeah.
So we'll see exactly. If Woshi wants to grab it, obviously, I feel like it's going to be up. I don't think. Yeah, we don't see a ban being expended for it. So maybe phase 2 ban, but I doubt it.
Yeah, they did manage to deal with that Echo in the previous game. Asian Invasion, of course, have swapped sides over to red this time around.
That's
right.
right. Yeah. Yeah, and crucially, we were both talking about that. We expected AI to swap here for game number 3, of course, to red side. The top laners, generally speaking, like Happy Hours from Champion, just tends to favor that, and the first pick Jinx does not surprise me at all from Akuma. I like that adaptation too, and that kind of just seems to be more meta now, especially in the amateur leagues. I expect to see that as well in like more competitive, of course, like pro leagues like LCK, LPL, etc. But yeah, right now in amateur, there's no doubt that Jinx is taking off, and she's carrying a lot of teams, so we'll see what Akuma decide to pair that with. They do, of course, obviously have that Thresh as well, which is something that we've seen many a time from Ratchet, so would not be surprised about that. Maybe a Tom Kench. I don't know if you want to draft it too early on, but it does, of course, counter that Vi, so that is an option if you want. But we'll pay close attention to see what AI decides to do with this R2 pick. My guess, probably just an AD carry. You have the option for something like Ferris if you want, maybe the Zaya if you want to be a bit safer. But time will tell.
I'd actually love a by Rakan, and yes, that is what we're going to get for Asian Invasion. The first game on red side tonight, and a couple of really strong engage options for themselves on the 1-2, and now
beautiful. That's a really good response from Akuma.
Yeah.
That's a quick lock-in too. So AI, they show their hand very quickly with the by Rakan, saying that they want to commit, they want to engage, and one of the best counter engages in the game is of course going to be that Renata. So I really like that answer here, and the Maokai too. Maokai, of course, getting those nerfs, a few patches back, maybe a bit more than a few now. I'm sure it's been a while, but regardless, we haven't seen too much of him, but he's still extremely strong. You tend not to see too much of the AP build, of course, with the Demonic Embrace, but instead you see more of a tanky style of Maokai, so I really like to see that too. That's just a champion that kind of fell off, and one thing to take note of, the engage that Akuma has from the Renata and the Maokai right now with their ultimates, the synergy that they have is really well done. AI is, generally speaking, right now a close-ranged team comp.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems like a really good response here in the drafting phase from Akuma. See what we're going to be able to get. It is the Zaya, of course, paired alongside the Rakan. Now into the second ban phase, it is going to be Fish's Syndra that does get removed.
I think Akuma should be looking for a cannon ban right now. I think with AI banning that Syndra, that's what that tells me. And at this point, I would not be surprised for them to full commit into dive anyways. I don't know if they play Camille, unfortunately, not off the top of my head, but if they do, I would not be surprised to see something like that as well. Like I said, time will tell, but we do have this next ban, the Talia being hovered. I think that's a good ban for the side of AI as well. The Talia obviously being more of a supportive style of mid lane, but of course with those roams, the impact that she has in the mid game, which of course she does have that level 6, very impactful.
Yeah, Fish has been an absolute menace tonight. The Syndra in game 1 and the Ahri in game 2. I think targeting them a little bit with the bans does make sense.
Yeah,
Ahri is terrible.
Akuma banning 2 top laners, that to me says that they anticipate, that the final pick is going to be top lane, and we do have the Silas coming in. I do like the Silas pick quite a bit. You have the Renata armor, and of course you have the Maokai armor too, so those are 2 pretty good elements that you have. But yeah, you have to close the gap. You have to close the gap on this team. So let's see how Akuma adapts with his team comp, because we already see AI showing their hand.
Yeah, I mean, do you just go all in on protect the Jinx composition and allow the Jinx to hyper carry, or do you want another threat for yourself in the top lane? Maybe a little bit difficult.
You want the Fizz?
Wow, yeah, I don't think we saw that one coming.
No, you want the Fizz. If you're Akuma, that's what you want.
I mean, his name is Fish.
Like, I guess.
His second most played this season, 22 games, only 41% win rate.
Oh, that is exciting. That is really exciting. And if we do see this Olaf locked in here too, I'm going to really like that pick here. The Sion I don't think is bad by any means, but I really like that Olaf. Obviously being able to just run into that backline is nice, but we are going to see the Sion, and the Camille hover was there for a second, which we got the direct counter to Sion. Malphite is another option too.
be an option. Pretty good into the Jinx, right? But there's the Camille. That is something that you shouted out earlier, actually. Would go really well with the Vi and with Rakan. Facilitating that dive to Fiora, maybe a stronger counter pick into the Scion. I think the Camille could work well, and I think that's going to make a lot of sense here. It does give you some options in team fights as well. Should win out against the Scion in the side lane, and should be able to, provide some threat onto this Jinx. What do you think about that Camille R5?
Well, I mean, you take a look at what AI wanted. Unfortunately, they didn't have red side for both Game 1 and Game 2, and with the champs that we do see Happy outplay, like this Camille definitely pairs in well. That's an R5 pick for top lane, and I think they use it properly. Now we see what AI wants to do. They want a full commit. They want to dive into Akuma. While Akuma, I think their first phase of drafts, that Jinx, that Renan, and that Maokai were really good. I'm more interested to see how this Fizz is going to play out into the Scythes, because that's not a matchup that I've seen in I don't know how long. I mean, honestly, I think the last time that I remember Fizz being meta, he was building like AD and he was like a top bruiser. So I'm interested to see how that's going to play out. And then, of course, we have the Scion 2, which is just going to be a comfortable scaler. But the truth is that Camille R5 pick is going to absolutely shred him. So I like it a lot from AI. I like the response from Akuma as well. I guess really at the end of the day, it's going to come down to execution. But there's no doubt that AI has the advantage when it comes to team fight and arguably split too with that Camille. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see both team comps. I think both teams have drafted pretty well. Like I said, I'm interested to see it. It's quite literally a wild card thing for me. I don't quite know what to expect with this Fizz pick, but I like it because if you've got the gall to pull it out, especially into Game 3, like this is a pretty important match too, right? I mean, both teams right now are 1 and 2, so obviously you want that 2-2 score line. 1 and 3 looks a heck of a lot worse. So
yeah,
there's faith in the pick.
Absolutely, especially against a team that's so close to you in the standings, right? This is a game that, both sides are really gonna they're really gonna want to win if they do have playoff ambitions, right? You need to be able to create some separation between yourselves and the bottom of the table in order to secure a spot in those playoffs. But definitely, turning our attention back towards these drafts, that mid lane matchup is definitely gonna be really fun to watch. It seems my guess would be that it is like a skill matchup. It could go either way, kind of like you're saying. The Fizz ultimate does seem like it's pretty good for Silas to steal, and the Silas with his sustain may be able to avoid heading into one-shot range for the Fizz, but it's I'm not really sure. I don't think Silas is necessarily known for his strong laning phase or anything like that, so it could definitely go either way.
For sure. The one thing I will say from Akuma, I'm a little surprised that they didn't end up I guess you can argue that the Silas does do well, but something along the lines of Victor, like a more control mage, something that can play away from the engage that you see from AI. Maybe that's something that they could have ended up drafting, but if I'm not mistaken, I think the matchup is a little Silas favored. I could be mistaken on that. Of course, mid laners would. I think mid laners would know a bit more, but I think that the Victor, personally, in my opinion, would fit the team comp that AKM has drafted. So that's just my opinion. They have a lot of engage from far range with that Maokai ult, of course with that Renata Glasswell to follow up, and I suppose in this case too with the Fizz that they've drafted. Of course, they do have that ultimate as well. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's really going to come down to, like I said many a time, it's going to be execution. So I'm excited. Can't wait to see.
Can Fizz get the push, though? That's the other question, I think. Because if Fizz can actually get the push into the Silas, then Fish can start to look towards that bottom lane and try to get Turtle ahead on this Jinx. We've already seen what Turtle can do from ahead. Even in the game that they were losing, Turtle was doing so much damage in that game to try and keep his team in it. And we also have to, I think, fold the junglers into this conversation as well. Who do you think wins in that 2v2 between the mid-junglers?
The 2v2, I mean, it really comes down to kind of whoever catches the other person out. Like if I happens to be charging a Q in a bush or anything like that, it really just depends on positioning, generally speaking. But I mean, both junglers, I don't really expect them to want to be fighting each other anyways. I expect both junglers want to focus probably more towards the spot side. The Jinx of Renata and the Xayah Rakan, that's a bit more of a volatile lane than the Scion Camille, but of course you do have the option to camp that Camille early on if you want. Lots of options for both sides, but generally speaking in this meta we tend to see a lot more bot side favored plays, so that's just something that we've seen. I wouldn't be surprised to kind of see that as well, but we'll pay close attention to it. Like you mentioned, I think it's going to be really interesting to see who does get the push in this mid matchup, because I don't want to say anything that I just don't know, and I really don't know. So the Silas and the Fizz is going to be interesting to see. To me, I have to agree with you. I think it's more of a skill matchup, but maybe Fish knows something that we don't.
Well, Turk, what do you think? Definitely a clear identity for the side of Asian Invasion's composition, you know, they have Dai, and then they have more Dai, and then they have a Zaya, who's really good at not dying while her entire team is diving. So seems pretty straightforward, but you know, we've seen drafts tonight that we really liked that didn't necessarily get the win on the other side of things. It's a lot of frontline, it's a lot of peel for Turtle on this Jinx, and then Fish with his own pocket pick of Fizz in the mid lane. Which draft do you like better?
At this point, I think I'm gonna probably have to give it to AI, and it's just it's on a slim margin, to be completely honest. like I mentioned it already once before. I liked Akuma's first phase. I thought that the Jinx were not Maokai were really solid, and then just the phase 2 to me has a couple question marks, but it's very minimal stuff. Like it comes down to comfort, so that's the real answer to it. But like I mentioned, maybe like another control mage that can keep the distance away from this team comp that wants to just so clearly engage into you. It could have been an option. And when it comes to amateur, when it comes to even probably something Challengers League, whatever it might be, the easier to execute comp tends to win out, and I think AI's comp to me just seems easier to execute. One other thing you have to keep in mind too is AI doesn't exactly want to play front to back team fights. What they want to do is actually get vision control first, establish that, and then look for flanks with that Camille. They don't want to play front to back. They want Camille to dive onto that back line, catch that Jinx, catch the Renata, catch whoever she can.
Well, Turk, we shall see if Asian Invasion are going to be able to successfully invade Akuma's backline, or if Akuma, with the momentum coming out of Game 2, will be able to find the reverse sweep to secure their win in this best of 3. The deciding game, folks, right after this.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
All right, everyone, VTS fans, thank you for sticking with us, turning into a bit of a late one as we go one more time onto Summoner's Rift for the Asian Invasion and for Akuma's Scythes. And once again, I have my teams backwards. Any runes or summoners to point out this time, Turk?
On Hong Kong player especially, we see, and Fish. I almost said Fizz, but I mean, I guess I would have been right either way. It doesn't matter. But we actually see the Ignite from both mid laners, so definitely a skill matchup. We'll pay very close attention to that. Without those TPs, obviously, that later game rotation could be a little bit more difficult for both of the solo laners. So it'll be important for, especially Alive and Happy Owl, to establish that split push. And once Happy Owl does get that Divine Sunderer, things are going to start to really look good for that Camille. And yeah, that split push that only at this case right now, Sion will be able to deal with. Naturally, it's losing in this case, so yeah, split push, it looks very clear to me that we already have a bit of a win con here, or at least, I should say, at least an opportunity to play around. Correct, exactly. So, interesting to see.
Both junglers starting topside this game. I believe we've had the opposite side starts for both of our previous games, so there's another little difference for us. And some deep vision for the side of Akuma. They spot out Woshi on that red buff.
That's right. Yep, Woshi is spotted, so of course they do know when his jungler is starting. They also see that he was pathing up towards top side. Interesting though, we see Woshi fake looked like he was going up towards the Krugs and then path back down here. So he could maybe look for something like a 3 camp bot side, as you see Pika looking for something on Ratchet, but good spacing.
The grand entrance just a hair short there. He had like 1 foot all the way through the door, but then he was like, I can't quite go actually.
Yeah, I anticipate a 3 camp gank here bot side while we have a full clear coming in from Jofu. So Jofu's going to be a little bit down here in tempo in terms of getting here for this gank, but he will be able to clear a bit faster. So we'll pay close attention to this. This wave is going to crash right now. So Pika, go just soak this up, get that level 2, and then maybe you can look for something. We'll see where Ratchet places his ward, which is extremely important right now with the position that Woshi's in.
Yeah, I am also a buff Gromp path on Vi Enjoyer, so glad to see that Game 1 POG Woshi agrees with me on that one.
And that's perfectly timed wards. It's something that we probably don't end up catching there in the stream, but Vi was spotted there. Really well timed by Turtle. We are going to have an engage.
Oh yeah, that is Pika that does find the entrance this time around. Goach stepping forward, letting those feathers fly a little bit, and guess who is behind them? Woshi still looking for the play. He may have been spotted by... There were some pings. I think they might know. Yeah, I think there was maybe another ward.
The pings were in the tri-bush. They saw that Vi was down there, and it looks like they're respecting it right now. And I don't know if they expect Woshi to continue staying there, but so far so good for them. I think they've adapted quite well here.
Alive's in trouble up here. That's going to be Q2 from Happy Hour.
Oh,
and he still lands it after the flash, and Alive will not be. Happy Hour finds the solo kill for first blood. That's a beautiful handshake from Ratchet. Gets a Pika stuck underneath the turret there, and very quickly it will be the sides who answer back.
That's right, we can see a kill going in top side, so your win con there starting to come online. Fish taking a hit of damage, more than a bit, for sure. He definitely have to be careful, but bot side we can see that answered. A Ratchet, what an incredible play there. That flash was beautiful, but more importantly that handshake landing, while Pika, I believe he actually ended up taking aggro with that ignite, so ends up sealing his death in the response, so excellently played by Ratchet, and they prevent, which is crucially a very nice kill, and more importantly, the missed experience for anybody who died.
Could also have picked up the aggro just with the damage from the knock-up, but could have also been the ignite. You know, either way, it was really well played from Ratchet. That's really the main story there. It's going to be another grand entrance. Does get the knock-up onto Turtle, but the Flame Chomper is very well placed. Prevents Goach from following up on that one. Oh, this Fizz, he's ignited, he's gone. The fish is fried. Hong Kong player finds a solo kill of his own. Both the solo laners coming alive for Asian Invasion in this third game, finding some early advantages for the team.
Yeah, for sure, and it looks like we are going to have that top lane pushed in here. Well, maybe not, actually. We're going to have Woshi reset, so that's going to be a slow push top. Nothing crazy there, but it could be an opportunity for a kill here. Not quite, no flash for Jofu. Yeah, no opportunity there to be able to close that gap, and you're right. The Rakan, just extremely safe, and the Zai, of course, having the cleanse. It's difficult to lock these two down.
Very dead even, actually, the farm so far between these two 80 carries, but of course Turtle was able to pick up that kill on the Rakan, so is going to have the Noon Quiver on the base here at 5 minutes. Goach, I believe, is going to have that one as well when the Zaya does reset.
He's got 1200 on him right now. He's pretty close. I believe it's 1300 needed, so he looks
has
like
a longsword already, though.
Oh, that's right. Absolutely. Yeah. Good call. Good call,
yeah.
mister. Yeah, you're right about that. Hong Kong player, you can see a bit of this advantage already just coming in naturally. See the ult.
Big convergence on mid lane right now. Level 6 for Hong Kong player. They're going to look for Fish here. Has the jump and the stolen Fizz ultimate going to go just wide left. Fish going on a little bit of an adventure through his own jungle, but he's going to be totally fine. And good attempt there from Asian Invasion. Not able to find the fish this time around, though.
For sure, it was close. Unfortunately, the Fizz ult, stolen Fizz ult, just not quite able enough.
Oh, that was an aggressive use of the Trickster there.
Sure. Yeah, Fish doesn't want to take too much damage here. He's not at risk of being dove, so that's a-okay. He should collect this wave, no problem.
Oh, the Hextech ultimatum from Happy Al, and Alive once again, looking to find his way into the Death Chamber. One more auto attack from the Camille. Oh, the shield. Is he going to be able to turn it around? Slank, he doesn't have any mana.
Oh,
he didn't have any mana to cast the Decimating Smash. I think Alive actually could have turned that around. But no, it will be Happy Al now 2 up on the Camille.
And crucially, he catches that wave too. So now not only does he have 2 kills, he's going to end up going about 15 CS ahead here of this Scion. And this split push win con is 100% there. This Camille is 100% online, and we might see a little bit more action too.
Turtle does have flash, probably gonna have to use it here. Sidesteps the grand entrance, and the Vault Breaker going to miss as well, but Turtle burning down too much damage, still has the flash, but Jofu here to counter gank, and Woshi is gonna get Brambley smashed into the turret and give her sister her second kill.
Okay, here
now,
we go.
Flashing in, hits the point blank ultimate, hits the ignite as well, sidestep on the chains. Hong Kong player still looking to get the kill, and Fish did everything right, and it wasn't enough.
It looks like it was there, but just he doesn't have enough damage yet. It's just clear. He goes for it, and it's close, but unfortunately it's just not enough. The blasting wand is there for the Silas, and you can see it coming in. The extra damage is just enough, and yeah, that's another death there. And the solo laners here, unfortunately, we could see just down here, 0-2 for both of them, and Temple is definitely on the side of AI solos here. For sure, Happy Al in a great position, Hong Kong player in a better position. Things are looking really good.
However, Turk, it is Jinx is the win condition for the side of Akuma's side. She was always the win condition, and she is 2-0. So as long as Turtle is still having a good game, there is absolutely still hope for the Akuma squad.
100%, and they drafted the Renata to be able to deal with this dive, and there's no doubt they don't have the 6 yet, but when they do that hostile takeover, there's going to be a lot of impact that ultimate's going to have. And you're right, Turtle, 2-0. A little bit down in CS here, but that's not terrible at all. The 2 kills are going to more than make up for that. And I like this here, the pressure that they're applying too, you can see.
Absolutely. You know, the Jinx Renata able to step up in that lane in the face of Gocha's level 6 even. They're able to put on that pressure despite not having access to their own ultimate abilities. So definitely a lot of pressure coming through from the Akuma bottom lane. Not able to translate that into any early dragons or anything like that, though. In fact, we see Jofu up there on the top side of the map, considering a Rift Herald right now.
That's right. We're going to see the first dragon start here coming in from Woshi. It's going to be at 9 minutes, so a little bit of a later dragon, but the pings are coming down. Looks like Akuma is going to be more than happy to trade for maybe this Rift, but they're going to look for a gank mid instead. This looks nice.
The onslaught on the player from Hong Kong, able to flash out of that Decimating Smash, but the Trickster still going to land. Hong Kong player don't know if the Silas is going to have enough sustain. Vi is also here, but she's just going to cut her loss. She's so sorry, buddy. You're not getting out of this one, and it will be the shutdown. Going over to Alive on the Scion.
That's a really nice roam down by Alive. Unfortunately, he does get the kill. It's not the end of the world by any means, though, because Tempo is definitely put in the favor of your team for that. But Happy Out does have a massive wave of crashing. He's going to get at least 1 plate off of that, and he's looking really good here.
Yeah, knowing Camille, I'm thinking that's probably 2 plates. We'll have to wait until we get another look at that top lane.
Oh, yeah.
Dragon nor Herald were secured. Three plates? Happy Owl. You can't just do that. Oh, my God. Oh, what's this though? Nature's Grasp in the bot lane. On to Goach and Pika Pika, but unable to finish off the kills though, and now the re-engage from Garvin looking for the now time, but he can't quite get the kill. Joku survives on 1 HP. And now with the passive healing, Maokai stays alive long enough to secure the objective. And the Storm, the flash is going to be Goach for the big play. They're able to get 1 kill, and Hong Kong player making his way into the fight. They're able to clean up the fight. They're able to turn things around and make it a 2 for 2 in the end. But it is Akuma that pick up that objective, and it's Happy Al, though, looking for another solo kill. Alive should have enough HP bar to get underneath the turret. Will survive that attempt, but probably gonna have to go back to base. Does have the TP, though.
Yeah, the Divine Sunder are already available here for the Camille too. The Giant Spell, Doran Shield, and Tier 1 boots for the Scion. You gotta feel so bad in this game state right now. If you're Akuma, you're wondering how you can get back in it, and it's exactly what they did about 2 minutes ago, where they collapsed on Hong Kong player mid, forced his flash, still got the kill. That's what they need to do, but you can just see the tempo that AI has from these solo lanes, the advantage that they're able to garner early on, just from, generally speaking, solo kills. A couple ganks, of course, here and there, but definitely solo kills. So the natural edge is coming out here. Pika Pika doesn't quite have that 6 yet, but he's definitely close. And this dive comp is 100% online with the champions that need to be online. But you're right, Turtle, still 2-1, just unfortunately doesn't have that mythic yet. He just doesn't have the gold, the damage, the items to match any of the members right now on the side of AI.
Very true. Jinx still needs quite a bit more time before she is going to be able to even attempt to carry this game for Akuma. She's going to be able to get at least 1 plate for herself down here, I believe, but how much money is in Jinx's bank account at the moment? Still needs a little bit more for that mythic completion.
Yeah, for sure. And Akuma, you can see we have Jofu hovering towards bot side. He's pathing more towards mid right now, but I like what they're doing though. You want to focus bot mid. You want to look for any opportunities you can on overextensions from the bot team, from the bot side especially. Mid maybe here. We'll see what happens. I don't know if they have the damage though.
Nature's Grasp onto the Scythes, but look who's here for the counter gank. But look who is getting locked up by the Nature's Grasp.
Wow.
And now the Ignite and the Ultimate. The cease and desist though onto Fish. It didn't have the Trickster available, does have it back up off cooldown now though. Hong player though, so strong on this Scythes. He had the Doran's Ring, he had the Rod of Ages completed, and he's gonna be able to get the double kill. 6-1 now for HK player.
Oh, he's off to the races. How much gold do he have? He's 1,000 gold right now in his inventory, so he'll spend that happily. 400 gold bounty. He does reset. Like, yeah, this man is absolutely online. And Turtle got a kill there. He did end up getting a kill with a super mega death rocket, which is not bad. Like, you're not going to complain about that part, but Hong Kong player is, I mean, look.
Shot there, sir. Yeah,
That's,
oh man.
I don't know.
He is 2,000 gold right now up individually in the mid lane, is Hong Kong player.
When these outer turrets inevitably fall, you're going to want to be looking on the side of Akuma to group up as quick as you can and force these gauges. Like, you're on a constant timer, and this game feels so bad. This is greatly played here by Alive, but this turret's going to go down. Happy Al's going to get chunked out.
Woshi's also here. Got to smash into the turret for a second there. Did take a turret shot, and Jofu is actually kind of bullying the Vi out of the jungle here. The Nature's Grasp as well, but the cute little shorted Bolt Breaker will get Woshi out of the ultimate, but Woshi is on the wrong side of the map right now. The Blast Cone, the lockdown isn't there. Woshi is going to get knocked back again. Yeah, the Vi cannot get out of this one. Electrocute comes through, but the first turret does go down in favor of Asian Invasion.
Great patience there with the handshake. Maybe something else can happen from it.
This is make us oh, the Gale Force from Goat gets to safety and not enough range, I don't think, on that Renato.
Oh, we have the roam down from Hong Kong player though.
Oh yeah, and we know how bad this Isla is. He's gonna get both of them with the stolen hostile takeover. Easy as you like. Another double for the Silas. 8-1 now for the Asian Invasion mid laner.
It's so unfortunate. There's just no vision. There's no vision at all on Akuma's bot side. They can't see through that tri-bush, and that's exactly where Hong Kong player walks. Has a stolen Renata R and hits it from Fog of War. Hits both, and just, that's all she wrote. Before you know it, that's another 2 kills for the side of that Silas. Hong Kong player, 8-1, 600 gold bounty. Like, I don't know. I don't know right now. If you're Akuma, you've got to be thinking about how you can get back into this game, and to me, you have to play around Turtle. There's no doubt. It's just, do you have enough time to be able to buy? Turtle needs at minimum 2 items to start doing a lot of damage in these fights.
Yeah, definitely. Jinx kind of wants 3, right? If possible. You want the Infinity Edge, obviously. Right. And you also could really use like another attack speed item to really be able to get out the damage in those fights. But
Runance is really good this game. Runance is extremely good. They have 4 meelees, so Runance could be a great third option for Turtle. We'll have to see exactly what they decide to do. But you're right, yep, it's a 3-item spike.
Oh, Fish can be able to jump away. Is definitely fine for now. Oh, maybe not, as the stolen ultimate comes through, but Fish, yeah, that E, once it's maxed, is kind of a ridiculously short cooldown. Fish is able to get away.
Uh-oh.
Oh yeah, it's another Hextech ultimatum in the top lane. Happy Hour looking for another one. No turret either, but the Scion, the ultimate, yeah, he's going to be able to choo-choo his way to safety. Meanwhile, our team's jockeying for position in the bot side river. Looks like the side of Akuma able to push their way in for now.
Absolutely. Crucially, they don't have mid-brow right now, though. I'm going to see Hong Kong player be able to push this in, and they could threaten this mid-tier 1 if they want, but it doesn't look like they're going to be in position, and Akuma instead might be playing for the spot side turrets. So, interesting take from both of these teams. We'll see how they play around the vision. Which actually, speaking of which, Akuma has essentially none.
Jofu trying to zone these guys away as the Maokai ultimates fly left and right. The Maokai trying to soak that up to the team. Can't Turtle stay alive? No, they've gotten straight onto the Jinx, and the Turtle will be taken out of his shell. Hong Kong player is just too strong, moving down there into the bottom lane, taking over in the team fight. Easy 3 for nothing for Asian Invasion. They're going to be able to get the turret, they get the dragon, they get pretty much everything, Turk.
Yeah, they do, and the easier to execute team comp is coming up here, clutch 100%. That's a beautiful engage there as well from Pika Pika, recognizing that Maokai obviously is going to go down. Saves a grand entrance for the backup there on Turtle and Ratchet. That's all the kills there, and not only that, they're going to grab that tier 1 bot, they're going to grab this dragon, going to grab the red, and firmly cement themselves in control of this game with a 5k gold lead at 17 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about one threat compositions, right? When your win condition is just Jinx, like, yes, in theory, you can use all of your abilities to protect Jinx, and that can work well, but also, your opponents only have one target. It's just always Jinx, and when they have this much dive, it's almost impossible for Turtle to actually be able to keep himself safe in these fights.
Yeah, you need more than a Renata to keep you safe for sure.
Yeah, as the stolen hostile takeover going to go wide this time around. Hong Kong player getting chunked a little bit.
Like, there's no doubt when Turtle's able to stack his lethal tempo, like, he has a crack. He just, how much gold does he have right now? The poor man, he only has 600. God, he is behind.
Needs a lot more time.
Yeah, he needs. I mean, he's not that behind, but he's one of the more ahead members of his team. But that just goes to show you the state of this game.
A little bit of good news for Akuma, though, as we are going to get a secret on the tier 1. Here comes Fish from over the wall. They get the shutdown. That's a huge shutdown onto the mid laner. They're going to be able to get the turret as well. So Akuma still making some moves. They're not out of this game just yet. Check the bot lane, though.
Nope, they grabbed that tier 1 mid. It opens up that game. That's a really good to see. AI obviously not having their tier 1 mid in respect of now. So the deeper vision can start to come in through that mid lane, and that's where you can start to see where people begin to rotate from top to bot. Often junglers, often supports will walk through that corner. You could become looking for something.
Oh, go! Just letting the feathers fly there, cleaning up in to fight the feather storm as well to dodge away from Fish. Fish is going to be able to execute the support. Does he have the E off cooldown? Not in time. Blade Caller comes through for Goach. 4-0-5 now on the side.
Just a bit of an overextension, I suppose, at the end of the day. The play they grabbed it was a tier 1 mid, and they just ended up overstaying. Happy Out could be in a bit of trouble, but he's Camille. He's probably okay.
He is really Camille. He really is Camille, isn't he? He's gonna have another cho'gathos in just a second here, and there goes the tree. Timber yells Happy Owl as he does a little bit of lumberjacking. There should be a lumberjack Camille skin.
There definitely should be a lumberjack Camille skin. Like we made Riot millions right there.
I think
millions.
They may have. I hope they're watching the stream here of VTS Spring Week 4. Otherwise, I really would have missed out on that opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. And now we see already AI is now 7k ahead at this state of the game. We're closing in on the 20-minute mark, which of course means that Baron's going to be up. And we see Ratchet looking to get some vision. I don't think he knows where Hong Kong player is, and he could end up walking into something that he doesn't want to see. But wisely, he's pathing somewhat away. He could, yes. Very cheeky. That's a good ward setup by him there. Unfortunately, I feel like that vision is going to be cleared over the next couple waves here. Yeah.
Gonna reveal himself on the radar. Gonna come out of that cloud bank, but Pirate Ship not gonna be able to find any booty this time around. Scion is a little too tanky, too thick of a target.
That's right. And we actually don't see this vision being cleared right now from AI, which I feel like is a tad bit sloppy here. Not to really nitpick too much because they are obviously in a great state here, but really the goal for them right now should be to push this mid wave, rotate into that Baron, clear that vision, prep up like you're going to do it, and then return back to the mid lane, push it maybe a couple more times, and bounce back and forth. Look for picks, look for opportunities to engage, just like this.
Oh, there's opportunity to engage. We're going to go in straight on the Turtle, who's going to flash up the wall and stay alive for now. It's the collapse from Hong Kong player on the other side of the fight. So looking for the cleanup. They're going to get straight back on the Khan, though. Rune is also going to drop, and look at Ghost is getting taken out. It's going to be able to flip the feathers for, but it's so late. It's going to be the Scion who flashes over it and gets marksman, but Turtle is also down. Both AD carries have been taken out. It is actually the side of Akuma's side to have the man up in this engagement. Is Happy Out going to be able to carry? Woshi is going to get taken down, and now it's Camille all on her own. There's a lot of low health bars, but she misses the and it's going to be another shutdown going over to the Scion alive. Had such a rough go in this landing phase, but now he's 5-2.
Well, you cut the gold lead by 3k with that. You don't end up getting the Baron. That's not bad at all. You're going to take that 100%. So right now we see both teams resetting. Of course, AI, they're going to be down in tempo quite a bit with only Pika Pika up at the moment heading towards this dragon here. But if I'm not mistaken, I think this is Akuma's dragon. I think they're going to be able to walk over here, look to get this vision set up, and play around it. We're going to have to see exactly what AI decides to do. They don't need to play for this by any means. They might be able to push mid. We saw that in Game 1. I think they did a fantastic job with their macro there. Maybe they have an option to do that here in Game 3 as well. I wouldn't be surprised to see that. But I feel like just that fight was just a little overzealous. I think you need to push the mid wave, force the enemy to react, dive into the cloud, into the fog where the enemy can't see you, and then look to engage. You don't want to fight front to back at all, and that's what you saw right there.
Woshi last engagement. Would have liked to see a little bit more patience, maybe. They didn't have enough control over the area, and they definitely don't have any control over this area. Akuma with complete river control. Scion trying to hold the door, but here comes the dive. Can Turtle get away once again? The Jinx is still safe on the backline, getting out so much damage. Volky's gonna be the next drop. Turtle is so excited right now in this fight, and the Jinx able to help secure 3 kills. They're gonna be able to get the dragon on top.
Was that just me who saw that hostile takeover? My goodness, Ratchet absolutely shredded that team. Really, really, really well played. That counter engage, you can see that Renata, the priority pick there. It's such a good answer to the dive that you see from AI, and yeah, that overzealous play in mid lane that we saw a few minutes ago from Woshi, really going punished here.
Yeah, great call out there, Turk. Oh, Renata pick gonna be loved in the draft. Great execution there from Ratchet as Goach is trying to make a stand here at the Baron. Has the damage, will be able to take down the frontliner. Where is their jungler? Will not be able to make it to the pit in time, but the other jungler is also executed. It's gonna be Renata who gets the last hit on the Baron. His Hong Kong player will also drop, sacrificing himself for the look there, and it's gonna be the cease and desist over the wall as Woshi gets the kill onto Turtle. And now again, it's only Fish, the last surviving Baron buff. It's just like game 2, Turk.
Oh yeah, we've definitely seen this before. History repeats, doesn't it? My goodness. Yep, 1 Baron buff remains. That's definitely unfortunate if you're Akuma. The tempo that you just gained from that play is definitely still massive, but a couple turrets are going to go down, both of them being tier 2s, and that's definitely unfortunate here. No other neutral objectives to play for here for the next 4 minutes, so you're pretty safe in that regard, but... Oh no, wow.
Very nice from Fish. Very cheeky, as Happy Al is really upset about that, but now he's about to be even more upset as he goes underneath the turret for a hook shot and just dies.
Okay. That was an extremely clutch play. Also still having the Zhonya's too. So really good job of canceling the Hextech Ultimatum interaction that I haven't seen in a long time, simply because I haven't seen too many fizzes, but really well played by him there. And while he had a really rough early game, ended up getting solo killed twice if I'm not mistaken. He's bounced back exceptionally well here in this game 3 here now. Closing on the 24-minute mark, 5 and 4, looking pretty dang strong.
I mean, really, the entire team has, right? It seems like Alive and Joku were also getting kind of run around a bit in that early game, but definitely in control now. You know, still down a little bit of gold, but if we just look at the map state, I mean, they're saging on to the mid-tier 3 here. Alive still full HP, frontlining beautifully on this side. It's going to tank up the stolen Chum in the Waters from HK player, and now they just grasp, looking for an engage of their own. It's going to be Rakan, who dashes away. Going to get knocked up still, but it's the Scion now, who's maybe a bit overextended, who's going to get cut down by Lumberjack Camille. And now it's a 5v4 as Asian Invasion are on the chase. The hostile takeover comes out from Ratchet. Only really onto the Camille and the Vi, though. And now the Renata's going to get chased down. It's another kill for Goach. 5v3 now on the map. Happy wants a little bit more. Diving forward with the hook shot, has the ultimatum of Hextech. Going to find the slow. They're going to be able to get this kill. Turtle not able to escape. Happy Al couldn't go for the hook shot again. Yeah, no, that's Fizz, just Fizz things. But still, Asian Invasion hugely ahead after that one. Looking to chase down the jungler as well. Joku not going to be able to escape.
And it's so unfortunate. Akuma, with an excellent play there, macro-wise, decided to push in, grab that tier 3, expose that inhib, take the inhib quickly after that, but unfortunately just an overextension from Alive. He gets punished, and then once 1 kill comes in, multiple get followed.
Oh, Fish, can they get him? The feathers, they fly. The Zonya is there for the Fish. He's going to have E back off cooldown coming out of the hourglass. He's able to stay alive for now. Some of the waters comes out. It is maybe the side of Asian Invasion's turn to overdive a little bit here, but they are chunking down this Scion very, very aggressively. Live is going to be able to survive the tier 3 turn in mid, will not. And actually, Asian Invasion know exactly when to back away.
Yeah, they sure do, and that almost looked like it was going to be a kill on Fish there, but Alive playing that really well, denying a lot of the damage, especially the Silas E, which definitely would have ended up hitting Fish there, so very well played by him to deny that. But yeah, unfortunately right now this game state is just not as good as what you were hoping for. Of course, you do have an exposed inhibitor mid, top inhibitor is down if you're the side of Akuma, so you're a little concerned about that. You're going to want to push that out for sure, but I mean overall this game is surprisingly quite even for the overall game state here. We are on Soul Point, so we'll pay close attention to that, but it's Chemtech. At the end of the day, it's really not that important. If anything, it's going to be more about the Elder when that does come available, but that's not for 15 minutes. So we've got some time on that. 2 minutes for Baron. You can see something around there. But really, it's about this vision control that you can see Akuma, even though they're down this gold, I think they're doing a really good job of being able to hide into this brush, basically ditch away from all this vision here. Ratchet needs to be a little careful. I think he's doing a good job here. But you can see how they dodge and dive into this vision here. But respectfully here, I really like to see what AI is doing as they do have this mid-prio.
The same play as team number 1, right? But this time it's going to be Akuma that go in for the team fight, looking to fight for this mid lane control, not willing to give up that minion wave as this time around. You know, their inhibitor is already open, but it's going to be happy out. Right over the wall, cut only onto the Scion. Woshi not going to find an angle just yet. Dragon started.
We do have the option for a TP bot side. We actually just have Happy Out going there right now.
Yeah, there he goes. Away. He's looking for it. It's only a Chemtech Soul, as you already mentioned. You know, it's not as impactful as the Dragon Souls that we had in our previous games tonight.
That's right.
And if Happy Out can actually break open this last inhibitor turret, that is massive. He's going to try and teleport to it, but Camille, oh, she doesn't quite have enough time. So Happy Out dashes away.
They might be able to get this. We'll see. They're definitely playing for it. The AI, I think they've got just enough damage. We'll see what happens after.
Shall see, looking for the inhibitor still. Oh, Pika Pika's gonna step on the chopper, then he gets blown up. They do get the inhibitor, but now they're a man down on the side of Asian Invasion. They're looking to fight Woshi deep in enemy lines. He's gonna get taken down as well. It's a huge team fight win for the side of Akuma, side Hong player in the thick of things, not able to trade one match onto the Fizz. But that is all that Asian Invasion are going to get in that fight. Can they run down mid to end the game?
I mean, the death timers, we've got 15 seconds on Pika Pika, but you're right, we just don't have the minions for that yet. Akuma definitely won't be able to end, but we have a quadra kill on Turtle. And unfortunately, Scumbag Alive did steal the Penta. Just want to point that out real quick. Figured I'd mention that, but all is everything.
So many
hey, everything is all A-okay for your Akuma. You have this set up right now on this Baron that's up in 7 seconds. Doesn't look like they're going to play for it right off spawn, and I think that's wise. Good decision as Woshi is up right now. But that's definitely the next contested objective here. Both inhibitors are down, though. We have top inhibitor down and mid inhibitor down for the side of Akuma, so that is something to pay attention to.
Definitely. Do you think it would be a reasonable play for Asian Invasion to not hard contest on the Baron, maybe just look for a steal from Woshi and just go all in on that third inhibitor, try and make it a 3 inhibitor game? Or should they definitely fight at the Baron?
The key to that is just to get the waves pushed in. If you're able to push in mid, if you're able to push in top, then you have that angle. So the answer is yes, if you're able to do it. The onus is on Akuma to be able to. We'll see what happens here.
Oh.
That's pretty fancy footwork by Fish. But the onus is on Akuma to push these waves out. They can't let the waves get close to their base. Otherwise, the TP threat is there, especially from Happy Out. He has it available right now. And Alive's doing a great job of this right here. You can see Alive basically trading HP to ensure that this wave doesn't get pushed in, which is
the rest of the team is on Baron. But Woshi gotten a couple of steals already tonight behind the Baron pit. Could look for this, but no, it's just gonna get burst down. It just gets taken by Akuma. And now with the empowered recalls, they should be able to make it back to the bank.
Wow, and they recognize that's a very small timer. That's a very small timer that Akuma has to be able to take that Baron with the waves that are pushing, but Alive does a fantastic job, as I was mentioning, just dealing with that wave, taking damage from Coach. Not a lot, mind you, but regardless, still taking damage, and at the end of it, yeah, he denies that mid wave for being pushed in, which means that Happy Al can't TP in for that backdoor play. They secure the Baron off the back of the Maokai ultimate, the Nature's Grasp, and things are looking really good here for the side of Akuma now. You gotta be feeling like things are in your control. You're down, what, 3k at this point? And that's not ideal, but it's 3k at 30 minutes. It's not the end of the world. Your main win con right now is beyond fed. And look at that, we actually have the Runeance Hurricane coming in 3rd there for Turtle, which is interesting. And then the Last Whisper 4th right now. So we can see the damage that this Jinx is already outputting. Actually has 1500 gold, completing his 4th item now. I might mention Lord Dominic's regards available now. So this Jinx is 100% online. Ratchet's doing a fantastic job of peeling, making sure that those hostile takeovers are doing what they need to do. Pretty much using his bailout only on Turtle, which is exactly what you need to do. He is your win con. And if they play the team fights properly at this point, I feel like the disengage that they have with the picks that they have, Akuma can make a lot of things happen here.
Well, they're actually looking for the engage, the flash handshake there, gets the Feather Storm out of Ghost, but Hong Kong player is going to get that first kill, I believe, on direction. He burns down while the Scythes is in the zone. The Scythes is going to get traded back. Here comes Woshi with the follow-up. They're going to get the kill onto the Jinx. They get the priority target. The dive is successful. Now they're looking for Fizz as well. Fish not having his death cap completed quite yet is going to go for the Zonya. Fish is going to have another trickster.
No
way.
Out of
that ability flashes for it, and he gets the kill onto the Camille, and now it's Woshi's gonna get taken out as well. They get the Jace, but it didn't matter. The
Is that game?
dive was successful, but it just didn't matter for the side of Asian Invasion. They get wiped in the team fight, and this time, Akuma do have the minion wave that they need.
Oh my goodness, there's no way that they won that team fight. I mean, Ratchet basically dies right off the get-go. Unfortunately, the hostile takeover just not finding it. They end up over-forcing their hand off the initial start there, obviously, with the ultimate available from Coach, but afterwards, even after Ratchet and Turtle go down, the impact that Fish has is just incredible. He ended up surviving 2-3 times when I thought for sure that man was dead. Just really well executed team fight without your main win con. So great job by them. I think what ended up really being the deciding factor in that team fight was the fact that AI, especially Hong Kong player, was a little bit overextended there, and he was of course the main win con. So I think that's one thing to take quick note of. But yeah, ultimately, like that, I think that's a fantastic game 3 there from Akuma. I think they did a really good job of executing their comp. They went down early, but I think they held on, did what they were supposed to do, and eventually when they had the opportunity, which was given to them by Woshi's one engage towards mid lane, maybe like 20 minutes, maybe 22 minutes around that time frame, where he just basically took a front to back fight, which is something you don't want to do with the team comp that they drafted. I mentioned it in draft. What you want to do is you want to play for those flanks with the Camille. Habial always wants to be able to basically get behind Turtle and then execute him in that direction, as opposed to finding a front to back fight. It's a lot harder for Camille to do that. And off the back of that, you can see that Akuma just got 1 kill, 2 kill, and then 3 kills, however many they ended up getting off that. Got the setup on Dragon after that, took the Dragon control, won the Dragon fight with a beautiful hostile takeover from Ratchet, and then the rest of the game is kind of history, because at that point, the team comp that you've drafted is online, your main win con's online, and that's Turtle. At this point, he had 4 items with a stopwatch. There's no way that man's gonna die, even though unfortunately we did towards the end. But it didn't matter, because you had the waves pushing, you had everything that you needed, and Fish ended up coming out really clutch on what we both considered to be a very wild card pick.
Absolutely. Yeah, and the other really great thing is that Akuma were able to fix a lot of the mistakes that they had in game 1, right? In this last game, they played exceptionally well, or I guess it was, yeah, because Akuma won games 2 and 3, yeah. So game 1, where they weren't really playing around mid lane as effectively, they kind of got caught with their pants down a little bit, and in this last game, you know, obviously playing the team fights very, very well to their win condition as well. It was actually Ratchet, yeah, as I think you already mentioned, in that last team fight, flashing forward to get the Featherstorm out of Goach right at the beginning of that fight that I think really allowed them to come out ahead in that last skirmish. It was very close, right? That last team fight. Fish was so low. He had barely any HP when he went into that Zhonya's and was able to come out on top, getting that execute on the Happy Hour with a flash. Yeah, really great from Akuma, kind of growing over the course of the match.
For sure, that's a really exciting thing about Best of 3 series, right? You're going to get to see the adaptation from games 1, games 2, and game 3, and I think the really important thing to take note of too is that AI, in my opinion, definitely wanted Red Side this entire series. I think I mentioned a few times already, based off Happy Al's playstyle. You can see he got the R5 counter pick for the Camille, and while he did great, like he did so good early, he got 2 kills on the Scion. Things were looking really good for him. Just inevitably what ended up happening is that a couple missed team fights, couple missed executions, and before you know it, you just don't have the damage that the Jinx does. And before you know it, on front-to-back team fights, you end up losing. If you can't find the flanks that you so desperately need with this team comp, you won't be able to basically take the main target down, which is going to be Turtle, and the execution just coming in better for Akuma, and huge congratulations to them, because that's a game 3 tilter. Like, questionably at some points, that's like if it's the scrim, you could basically just FF at points. So good mental, good job for them. They held in very well, and kudos to every one of the players here for both teams, of course.
Glad to hear that your doggo agrees with that analysis as well there, Perk. Really happy to hear that. And the other really cool thing actually about this last game is if we look at the damage charts, it's actually almost dead even between everybody except Ratchet. All 4 other players on the side of Akuma had like right around 25 to 26k damage. Like they were all right at that same mark. So absolutely a team effort here in this one. But Turk, you know what's coming next, right?
I do, and it's so hard for this game 3 to be honest with you. Like, I mean, if the damage dealt to champions doesn't display like how hard of a decision this is for me, I don't know what does. Like, also evenly spaced. I don't know, man. They all played so well.
Jofu, 26 out of 30 kill participation.
Yeah.
Alive, going down early in the lane, but coming back huge in those team fights as well. Dish with the pocket pick.
I mean, Alive finished 10 and 4. I think
Somehow,
like 10
yeah.
and 4. I think he had like a 400, 600 gold bounty, and I don't understand how that happens, but it does. The man pops off on. Yeah, into a. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know. At the end of the day, if I have to pick somebody, I'm going to pick Jofu, but I don't think that's fair at all to any of the players on the side of Akuma, because I think they all did fantastic. I think Ratchet played that were not exactly like how he's supposed to do, especially in the late game team fights. I think Turtle executed how he was supposed to do, and while Fish ended up getting put behind early on, he absolutely popped off in the late game team fights when it mattered most. Jofu, like you mentioned, 26 KP out of 30 kills, like that's beyond impressive in the live. And the counter pick matchup ends up going 10, 4, and 8 with what? The 400 gold bounty. So they all did great, man, but if I have to pick one, that's going to be my answer, Jofu.
Yeah, I mean, you already know, Turk. I'm right there with you. 3 out of 3 tonight for the jungle POGs. You absolutely love to see it. If our MVP voting was LCK style, where most of the people get to cast votes, then certainly would hope and expect to see a very nice split vote for this one, because like we said already, definitely was a team effort. Everybody on the side of Akuma sides performing really, really well, and this does mean that they have made it back to 500 here at the end of week 4, now sitting at 2-2, comfortably a middle of the pack team, and should definitely, especially with this form, be able to secure a spot in that postseason. But
yeah.
Turk, that's pretty much it. Do you have any closing thoughts on this match tonight, or any thoughts in general on the spring split here in the VTS as we are halfway through that regular season?
Yeah, I mean, I guess what I could really say to both teams, obviously, here is like, you're just rounding out now, you're halfway through your season here, so you've still got a lot of opportunities. Obviously, a 2-2 record is exactly what you're looking for in this state. If you're AI, you're down 1-3. It's not terrible by any means. You still have plenty of time to be able to adapt and fix some things out. In Game 3, I really think all you need to do is go back to that one engage that we saw Woshi go for there, where he went for the front to back, and just reanalyze and say to yourselves, if we push mid wave, if we push top wave, or any side wave, it doesn't matter. How does that fight end up looking? When the enemy team has to react to that wave being pushed down their throats, you have the opportunity to walk into top side, sweep out the vision, which I don't believe you ended up doing. I think actually at 1.2, I think a lot of the members of AI were sitting on wards that Ratchet managed to sneak in. They just didn't end up seeing a really cheeky ward placement, but that tells you everything that you need to know. I feel like just maybe a little bit of sloppy play there, just not coming up from the sweepers, which I know were available. So that's probably the biggest thing I could say, is just like dial it in. At the end of the day, when it comes to neutral objectives or steps, and the most important one always is to get mid prio, and then followed up by side lane, and then vision, and it comes in ebbs and flows. So one wave you push, you sweep all the vision, and then you come back to mid wave, you push another wave, and then you start to look for that objective. You look for picks once the vision's swept out. So that's what I could say to AI. I still think they played fine. You got to keep in mind too, they actually had a sub for tonight too, Happy Out.
Very
Of course, normally it's Sprint, right, which we got to see Sprint played extremely well in the one series that we casted, where he played Cassante the one game. I think he went like 11-3, popped off, and the other game he played Jax, the 2-0 VWE. So just, lots of things to take away from it, but definitely a good game to VOD review. That Game 3 is a very close game for both teams. It's exciting. Always the best League of Legends when you get to see something like that, and obviously as time moves on, we look towards the playoffs for both of these teams, and I think it'll be exciting, and hopefully I get a chance to cast them again.
Absolutely, Turk. Couldn't have said it better myself. Yeah, it definitely was very, very obvious to us that these two teams were incredibly close to the match. You mentioned Game 3, but really, all 3 games tonight were very, very close. There was a lot of back and forth with both squads finding advantages in different points in the game for honestly all 3 of these games. So, definitely the side of Asian Invasion, they're down, but they are not out. If they are able to get wins in their 3 matches, over the next 3 weeks, they also can get back to 500. So, or actually, if they win all 3 matches, they would be 4-3, so actually above 400 or 500. So, definitely still keeping an eye on them, to potentially make that run towards the postseason as well. But that is going to do it from us tonight. It's going to be the Akuma sides that take the 2-1 tonight to conclude week 4. Thank you, everybody, for watching. From myself, from Turk here, from the entire production team at Victoris, we appreciate you all very much. Thank you for bearing with us. Turned into a little bit of a late one, but absolutely worthwhile if you did stick around here till the end. Thank you again for watching.